What's up? What's up, everybody? I lost where my camera was, and I was trying to point at it, and then I pointed in a completely different direction. I did a 10-hour stream today,
Oh God.
and I have my camera in a different spot, and now I moved it for the podcast, so that's why I'm confused. Welcome in, everybody, to episode 9 of Stick Drift. We're dangerously close to double digits, Randy. I'm telling you, we have to do something special for every new digit that gets added on.
We don't have to. I mean, at that point, it would be another 90 episodes. So
yeah, so it's not that hard. And what are the chances we get to 1,000? That's a lot of episodes.
Pretty low.
Yeah. But how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right. This week is going to be a little light. So for all you that are really hoping that we have shorter episodes, we probably will today. The one trying to record it and then get to bed on time.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep it light this week. We only have a couple things in the spotlight segment that we're going to touch on briefly. There wasn't like much big news that we wanted to touch on either this week. Like nothing super major that either of us thought that we had a lot to talk about.
There's one thing I think I want to bring up, but
okay. Well, we can bring that up then before we get into the main topic at the spotlight segment. But our main topic this year, Jesus Christ, I was reading the document. The main topic this week, with Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest coming up within 2 weeks now, starting at the end of next week, I think. We're going to talk about Game of the Year winners through all of the years of the Game Awards. What won, what should have won, and what got snubbed. At the end of the day, for anyone who gets a little upset at the Game Awards being like, oh, why did my favorite game win? It's all for fun. It's different people's opinions every time, There's always someone whose butt hurt more than others, for sure. I'm talking about the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 fans of last year. Not as much the fan. Honestly, what the developer said really pissed me off.
Yeah, they sounded like a little bit of an ass for a second.
Yeah. 2024's was Black Myth Wukong. 2023's we all thought was going to be Tears of the Kingdom, but it was Spider-Man fans for some reason. So there's always someone who's a little upset, but we're going to go through, talk about the snubs, talk about what was missed, and just on the Game of the Year stuff. We're not doing all of the other nominees. That would take way too long. We'll start with this, have some fun. And maybe sometime in June, in the next couple weeks, we'll do a midpoint of the year reflection. Be like, hey, what do we think is going to be on the 6 up on the podium at the end of this year? What looks likely, what doesn't look likely, what would we see? Something like that. And then very on topic, we'll end it with a draft of top 5 Game of the Year winners. So that'll be a lot of fun. Especially considering there's only 12 of them, so only 2 are getting left off. So we'll
get angry comments from the ones that got snubbed there.
You're so true. Oh, you're so right. But you know what? We'll take those comments. So we want to hear your comments about what you think got snubbed, what you think should have won, what you think deserved to win, and all of your Jeff Keighley hate, because he probably gets a lot of it.
He deserves some.
He does. Yeah. He's just trying to have people let people have a good time, but he deserves some.
Yeah.
High guard.
Yeah.
Anyway. So let's get right into it. Randy, I'm going to start us off because my spotlight segment is pretty short. I really don't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious to hear from the audience because I am someone who does not play tabletop games very often. Just any kind of, if you're talking tabletop RPGs, you're talking board games in general. But recently, Nick and his friends have been having some like game night stuff. And, we're playing stuff like Catan, and I'm looking at it. I don't even know if it's Catan or Catan. I don't know.
I think it's Catan.
Catan? Sick. I'm going to say Catan. Get in the comments about that one. No, Catan, really cool game. But it's one of those where I played it for the first time and I was like, this ain't sorry. There's levels to this.
There's a lot. So, yeah, I've never played Catan, but I understand there is a lot to it.
Yeah, it's really fun though. And so it kind of got me into the idea of all right, I'll keep an eye out for some pretty cool board games. And I found a Kingdom Hearts board game, Perilous Pursuit. It's like a co-op thing. And it's the only one I ever bought. Only board game that I bought, and and I've been playing it, and it's really fun. It's like a co-op adventure thing. So I've gotten into the mind space of I kind of want to be on the lookout for other stuff like that. I know Final Fantasy VII Remake did a board game called Materia Hunter. I think it was limited copies when it first came out, and the Square Enix store has never restocked. But I found one in a store, not very local, but in the state that we live in, that shipped it out for $40. So I just got that. And I know I talk a lot about the Trails series, and they're releasing I think that one is a true tabletop RPG. Like it's a book. I think it's more of like a D&D adventure where you build your own like character with weapons and courts and stuff, and you set everything up like that, how the games would. So it looks really cool. So I don't know if you've like delved into that kind of stuff. If you played,
so a little bit. I mean, I played D&D.
Okay.
And then we've been trying to get a couple, like me and my girlfriend, to like play 2-player ones mostly. But one of her friends does game nights, and like we're gonna go over for one soon. They recommended a couple. The only thing we've really played recently is a game called it's either Heroes of Barcadia or Adventures of Barcadia, and it's kind of like a board game, D&D light / drinking game, and it's really fun.
Interesting.
Like you set out like a dungeon that has like all these monsters and everything in it, and you have a cup that is your health, and you have a character that has their own ability on the cup. And so it's like you fill that with like your drink of choice.
Oh,
and
damn, that's so cool.
When you fight monsters and stuff, you drink the health away. It has like numbers or whatever on it. So it's like,
damn, that's actually really cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
You like collect cards, you can place traps around for other players and stuff. It's a good time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I bring all this up to say I don't have much more to say on this topic, just kind of listing a couple things that I had. So again, get in the comments with your favorite tabletop games. If you know other other tabletop games that are really fun, just in general, you can shout them out. Let me know about them. But I'm looking for like video game related ones. If you have like a Pokemon board game that's really cool, I'm so down to look at that.
Pokemon Monopoly.
I had a Pokemon board game as a kid. Could not tell you the name of it. Wish I could, because it was really fun. I don't think I ever knew how to play it, but it was fun to look at. Yeah. But yeah, so shout out your favorite ones. If you know any, let me know in the comments. 100%. Randy, what do you have in your spotlight segment? What did you want to talk about?
So I think first I just wanted to go over like stuff with Forza Horizon 6. I know I brought it up last week. And now that I've beaten the game, gotten a lot of stuff done in that game. Like every road is discovered, every regional mascot I've gotten, every bonus board I've gotten, collected a lot of the cars. So I've done a lot of the stuff in the game, and I've played a lot of the online now. But so I'm still incredibly high on it. I can't say 10 anymore though. It does have some problems that the more I've like played it, the more they show themselves. Number one being the difficulty thing with the drivatars.
Okay.
Because like the developers have said they're working on it. The game is incredibly easy until you hit a certain point in the difficulty settings, and then it just randomly decides that there's going to be like 2 or 3 NPCs that you just can't beat. Like you can tune your cars like to the absolute best, and it's crazy because it's not just like, oh, the difficulty makes them better and they drive better like lines and are like cutting corners and accelerating at like the proper times. It just makes them have speed and grip their car physically cannot have. So it's like it doesn't even feel fair. It's just like artificially like makes them faster. I think somebody did like a breakdown with like they have like different gravity, like the cars, like you could tell that with their suspension that they were like being pushed in certain ways, and it was like fucking what? Like they're just cheating. This is basically when you get to a certain difficulty, they're just cheating.
Gotta love that.
And so it's like whatever. The difficulty is like highly customizable, so you could find one that sort of works for you still. But
and just so everyone knows, what difficulty were you playing on for the most part?
I was playing on highly skilled, to where that was like a good mix for me, where I would lose. I wouldn't get first some of the time, but it was a good 70% of the time I could get first on that.
Okay.
But it just kind of changes between like tracks too. Like it just felt like sometimes like I would destroy in one race, click the next race, change nothing in difficulty, and wouldn't be able to catch up. I could be in the same exact car and the same exact rating, and it just didn't matter. It didn't feel fair. So that's a problem with it.
Because I know just to cut in really quick with like the difficulty, and again, someone who's coming from a background of I don't play racing games. The most racing I ever do is in GTA, and I'm not good at it there either. So I have no background to this, but wanted to jump in and try it, and I didn't know that like finishing a tutorial changes your difficulty and stuff like that. So I finished a tutorial, getting first on pretty much every race, got second on like 1 or 2 of them. And got into my first race after finishing the tutorial, and I did it like 8 times, and I couldn't get any higher than 6th place. And I was like, what happened between this race and this race? And again, it was the stuff of like the things that I could think of. I'm like, I'm cutting the corners well enough. I think I'm accelerating in mostly good places. I'm not crashing into walls. I'm not hitting different cars. Like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. So at that point,
it's definitely partially the tuning. That was
Okay.
definitely because it makes a massive difference. Like there are times I couldn't win. I tune the car up and hey, I'm winning everything now. Like
That makes sense.
yeah.
And it was stuff
Um,
like that where I don't know anything about cars, so then I was like, am I just not using the right car? Like, if I'm doing an off-road track, am I not using the right car for off-road stuff? And I'm like,
that could be it too. Yeah.
how does the game let me know what I should be using because I don't know what to use? And then it was a matter of like, okay, am I bad at this game because I just don't have knowledge of cars, or is there something else going on? And I think it's a little bit of everything from what you're saying.
Probably, yeah. It's probably a little bit of like you just don't know, a little bit of like the NPCs cheat,
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
little bit of just everything. And like just some of that stuff is like you don't really I wouldn't say you need to know cars. Obviously it would help knowing which ones are just naturally better in that scenario. But it does give like a vague rating of like off-road, this is how good it would be.
Right.
But it's not really that good to go off of because it's like it might say 4.0 off-road and you're like that doesn't sound that great, but if you're racing in like C or D class, that might be pretty good for that class. So it doesn't
It all depends.
Yeah.
And just to mention, I'm playing on novice because it bumped me up to average and I was getting my ass kicked. So I was like going right back down. But then again, when I go to novice, I'm destroying. Like I'm coming in first by like up like some races up to 30 to 35 seconds before second place comes in.
Yeah.
Like it's absurd where I'm like, this is I don't know where to find that middle ground.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm going to sound a little more negative just in this episode because I went over all the stuff I loved about the game in the previous one. I do want to preface this by saying this is still like a 9 out of 10 game for me. Like it's still incredibly good. But
if you guys didn't check out the last episode, you can hear the positive thoughts on that one. Here's the negative thoughts.
Yeah, so this is really just the negative thoughts, the stuff that over time kind of crept in and made me think like, okay, I can't give it a 10. So it's the difficulty thing was one of them. The other big one for me is like the online functionality. It works. But it's like, have you done any online races? I'm assuming no.
No, just the Horizon Festival stuff.
So, okay, so the standard races are like a 3-race like tournament, quote unquote. You get points for placement, and then end of that, whoever has the most points wins. You know, like they came in first most of the time, so they won. The problem with it is it doesn't wait for a lobby to fill in between anything. So people will leave and then you'll do the first race and it'll be like 4 people of like a max of I think 12 in the race. And then people fill in over time, not in the middle of a race, but maybe on the second one they'll join in and now the lobby's full. And then there's no way for them to ever win the tournament because you have the points from the first race.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
It just doesn't make any sense. And then, I mean, the game, this isn't really the developer's fault, but the game just has a problem with rage quitters in general. So like in the first, you might have like a full lobby on the first race, but then people leave because they crashed immediately the second the race started and they got mad and left, which isn't the dev's fault, but then people will join in on the second race and they can't win. So it's like the game's sold amazing. There's no excuse to not just have like, just wait 30 seconds. You find matches like that immediately. I would be so cool to wait 20 seconds and have a full lobby for the race. And just
100%.
Racing like 3 people, 2 of them being my friends.
Like, that's weird. It seems like there's a lot of like, were you saying that you were having any kind of connectivity issues before? I was talking to someone
the day
that
it came out. The day that it came out, like on full release, I had a little bit of some problems, but
that
like
makes sense.
not
just
really.
Server congestion probably.
Yeah, server congestion. Like the tune browser, I couldn't like look up other people's tunes for cars. It wasn't working. But like a day later, everything was fine. I haven't really had problems.
Okay, but yeah, that's so weird. For, like you said, for a game that's, I mean, like how well has this game been selling so far? Like
it's sold amazing.
Yeah,
I think over like 6 million copies.
That's insane. I mean, I know, like I think it's the highest. I think it's the highest rated game of this year so far. AI Overview quickly is telling me it's over 5 million copies in the first week, which is very good. Yeah, and it's 5 million copies sold, even though it came to Game Pass day one. So you look at that stuff and you still say it's 5 million sold, but a hell of a lot more people playing. So that's pretty cool. Like you said, with that many players in that high of a player
so
base,
much rather wait 15, 20 seconds and then just have a better race experience than so there's that. I kind of want them to add a couple more of the game modes that they had previously. They had some kind of dumb excuses for some of it. Like they had an infection game mode in one of them where it was like, basically, you know what infection is. You just hit somebody's car, they're now infected too. But they didn't include like some of those game modes, and I think the reason was like we didn't find a good enough way to evolve it. And it's like it's Infection. You didn't need to evolve it. Just throw it in there for people who want to have some fun. Like
can't take up that much space.
Yeah. So it's a little some stupid stuff like that. I really don't have much bad to say other than that. It's pretty good. They added a couple of like, at least from what I remember from Forza Horizon 5, some tweaks that I really like in multiplayer. Like people are ghosted now at the start of a race. You can't just spin somebody out immediately and just be an asshole. If the game detects that somebody's about to fly up on you and hit you later on in the race, it automatically detects a high speed collision and ghosts it, so they'll just go right through you. So if they try to throw you off the track, they just fly right off. It's great.
That's awesome, actually.
You can still kind of be an ass if you're like neck and neck with somebody. You can like shove them a bit and whatever and like that. So it still like lets you have some fun with it. But like it just removes people
who are really aggressive.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice.
I like that. They added like a slowdown if you slam into walls in multiplayer. Because previously like you could just like kind of bounce off walls a little bit because it's not like a super realistic game. So now like if you do that, it doesn't let you abuse the walls anymore, so it gives you an automatic slowdown for a couple of seconds, so you're screwed doing that.
Okay.
They made a lot of good little tweaks and stuff, and like I said previously, the map's amazing. I've had so much fun, so still a 9 out of 10, but I just wanted to be like, I can't give it 10.
That's fair. I do like, again, because I've been playing it a little bit more, I don't have many thoughts to kind of jump off of, because a lot of what you said is kind of like echoing what my experience is. I did one of the things that is really fun that I've heard reviewers talk about and stuff. It is fun when you have like, I'm playing on Xbox and you're playing through Steam, right?
Yep.
Were you? Because I think we were talking about it, and you said you were getting Xbox achievements through the Steam thing. Yeah.
Yep.
So because it's connected to the Xbox account, it's showing me all of your progress as you're going. But because I don't have a lot of friends that are playing it, it was always you. Yeah. So it was like, I've discovered 26 roads. Randy has discovered 476, and I'm like, man, I'm just not even close. I don't think so
I'm at 671 now. I got all of them. That last one took me because it's like it could be like a couple of pixels of gray that you haven't driven on a road, and it won't count. It's so annoying. And I was last night. I was on for like 2 hours just zooming around the map trying to find and the only way to really tell, because sometimes it'll be like, let's say like one of the highways that has multiple levels, it could be like the middle level, and so when you're looking on the map, it looks fully discovered because the top level is fully like showing as discovered. Yeah. And so the only way to really tell is to go around the entire map and see like one spot where it doesn't let you fast travel to it.
Jeez.
Like last night, like I was going around just hovering around the map for like 2 hours trying to find it, and then I got on this morning. I was like, I'll give it another shot, and I just like opened the map. I was like, there it is. All right.
It's one of those things you got to let your eyes rest for a while, and then you'll see it. You're like, Jesus, that's so funny. Yep. I was wondering about that because I'm looking at this like, again, I'm having a really fun time with it. It's probably something I'm going to see through. It's one of those games where it's so easy to throw on while I'm listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
And I did the math recently because like I was talking to my brother-in-law about podcasts, and he was like, how much of the video game stuff do you listen to? And I'm like, well, between the two that I listen to, that's about 13 hours of content a week. And he was like, that's absurd. And I'm like, it is absolutely absurd. But that also means I'm playing 13 hours of Forza Horizon 6 while listening to it. So
yeah,
I'm going to be getting
I do want to bring up a complaint I've seen from a couple people that I don't necessarily agree with.
Okay.
I've seen a couple of people bringing up they don't like the amount of dirt and like cross-country off-road races compared to street races. And I think that's just kind of like a misunderstanding, because this game had broken up it into two different progression systems with the Discover Japan and then the wristband stuff, whereas previously it was just really the wristband stuff. Okay. And the Discover Japan, it focuses on like the street racing, like culture and everything like that is in Japan. So if you're doing that, they added more dirt and off-road stuff to the Horizon wristband festival things. So if somebody doesn't realize that that's a whole other like progression mechanic in the game with Discover Japan, and they're just like focusing on wristbands like every other game have been, they're like, why are there so many dirt and everything? And it's because a lot of the street stuff is focused in the Discover Japan thing.
Right. So they split it apart as opposed to keeping it designated to one system.
And people didn't realize that it was split, and they're now like, there's so many dirt races. What's going on with this? Like, if you didn't do that, you can't really have the dirt ones in the other thing. It doesn't really make sense for the whole like culture of like drifting and street racing and things like that. So yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a pretty cool game. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, I don't think we're the only ones that are saying that you should. You'll probably hear a lot of people talk about it.
Very good. I'll get into my second thing. I'll try to keep this one a little bit short, but I do have a couple of things to say. I've been playing the Devil May Cry series, which I have never touched before in my life. I think I downloaded Devil May Cry 5 once on Game Pass years ago and maybe did a mission.
Okay.
And just didn't really think about it.
This is a series that I've wanted to jump in for, like my two biggest series. I think we talked about them on one of the first episodes that I want to jump into that I haven't. Devil May Cry and Metal Gear Solid. So I want to hear about this.
Okay. So, do you know anything about Devil May Cry?
I think Dante's a guy.
He is. He's the main character.
No.
Okay. So in the past week, I've beaten the first 2 games.
Okay.
They're very short, so it's not especially the second one. The second one, I think my file says it took me 3.5 hours. Okay. There is other missions you can do with a second character that kind of fill in some blanks in the story, but there's not much story in these games, especially in the original ones that were from the first one's from 2001. It was just an action game, Yeah. So they're old. And I didn't do those extra missions because Devil May Cry 2 is terrible. I'll get to that in a second. We'll start with Devil May Cry 1. So this game actually started development as a Resident Evil game. So a lot of the areas are very Resident Evil-esque, and it makes the biggest problem with the game the camera. Because you remember old Resident Evil games? I don't know if you've played any of them, but I'm sure you've seen things where the camera is bird's eye view, kind of from different angles and stuff. And as you're walking through corridors, it'll swap to another fixed position, and your character is moving around, but you can't control the camera.
Yep.
So Devil May Cry 1 through the 3 that I'm on 3 now. I just started it though. They get a little better over time, but the first one was just straight up Resident Evil camera. These are action games where you're dashing around the screen and fighting bosses and stuff like that. Do you know how bad it is to be in a boss fight and feel like the camera is the hardest part of the boss? Because you're trying to dodge. I'll put it to you this way. The first boss in the first game has an attack that is just some lava plumes coming out of the ground that follow you. Mm-hmm. And it'll do it 4 or 5 times. So if you're standing still, you'll get hit. If you're running, you won't. But you're running, and then you run across a certain part of the floor, and the camera swaps, and now you're holding your stick to the left, and left is suddenly back the way you came from, and now you just ran into the attack.
Now, I have a question, because I feel like there are certain games. I'm trying to think of one of the games I just played that was like this, and I can't think of it for the life of me. But when you have a camera swap like that, would you? Because I feel like they've done this before too. I know it was a 2001 game, so they weren't doing it back then. But let's say you're running in that direction, then the camera flips. I feel like it's almost even more confusing sometimes if you keep holding that same direction, where even though it's you're going in the opposite direction to where your thumb is pointing you, they'll keep running in that direction because you didn't recalibrate the stick.
Yeah.
But then you just let it go and put it back in the same position, and then he's running in a completely different direction. I feel like that's the way. Even as confusing as it is, it's way better than what that's doing.
Yeah, I agree. But this, I'll give it a little leeway because it started development as a different game. They changed it into this game. And the combat, I will say, holds up surprisingly well. It is very playable for a game from 2001.
And were these games on PlayStation when they originally launched? Were they?
I know I looked up 3 because I was the graphical jump from 2 to 3 is pretty significant. So I was what is this on? And 3 was on PS2. So I don't know what the other ones were on, but I could maybe PlayStation 1. But they control pretty well. The story is very bare bones and minimal for a game from that time frame. It's not bad. It's just not mind-boggling. I had a surprisingly amount of fun with the first one. Most games that are that old now that I've never touched or anything like that, I can't really get into a lot of the time. It just takes me out of it. And I am playing in the HD collection, by the way, which includes the first 3. So graphics look a little better, but it's the same game. With that being said, Devil May Cry 2 is god awful. It is so bad. I only played it because I heard of how short it was. And the first one took me a little over 6 hours or something like that, not doing secret missions and stuff. This one I didn't do secret missions on, and I didn't do the Lucia missions, which is another character you could play as to get fill in a little bit of the blanks. She has not as many missions as Dante, but it's the same story. You're playing through the same stuff, kind of another point of view thing.
Okay.
I didn't do that either because I hate this game.
You're I'll watch a YouTube video.
I don't even need to. It gave me an achievement saying I completed the game, and I was cool,
I'm
done,
good to go.
goodbye. Like,
Done.
it's so bad. So they kept pretty much all of the same camera problems. It's like maybe like so slightly better, and I can give you no credit now because you knew it was a problem on the first one.
Yeah.
It was a completely different team that made it. And there wasn't, I guess, a lot of action games of this style that like had this fluid of movement at the time. So they didn't really know how to make one. The combos feel like less in depth, which is crazy to say because the first one's combos are already not that crazy. And yeah, it just feels all around worse. Okay, so the best way to play through the game is just the guns. They do a little less damage than the melee weapons, but literally all you have to do is hold the shoot button, and in all the games it auto locks on for you. But in this one, the guns stagger pretty much every enemy, so they can't hit you. So it's you just sit there and hold X and you win every fight. And if you're playing on Xbox controller, and it's like at a certain point I would use the sword just because the guns were just like not doing enough damage. So it's like, all right, I'll just be here for a year holding this. And sometimes I would do that. Some like I would just do that. Story was still not like horrendous, but not amazing. But oh my god, the game is just trivial to play. It's so much easier. It's barely a video game. It's not very long. I'll give you an example of something I think Capcom made this, right? Capcom to this day. So when they were developing Devil May Cry 2, they had a team that never made like this kind of game before, didn't know what they were doing. They were messing it up. I guess like up until a couple of months before release, the game was next to unplayable. So they fired the director and they brought on a new guy who I don't remember if it was the original director from Devil May Cry 1 or not, who got the game to a playable state. To this day, they have still never said who the original game director was. They refuse to name him.
You know what's so interesting? Again, just to kind of like bring it into a modern context and everything, which is why it's like, listen, Ubisoft deserves all of the shit they're getting. They deserve. I think they deserved where they were at some point, but they lost it pretty quick. It is shocking to look at Capcom's history and to know that like Capcom used to be where Ubisoft is now.
Yep.
They can turn it around. They're not going to, but they can. If Capcom could do it to the state where they're at now, insane. But yeah, no, that's a bad sign, dude. That's a bad sign that they're like, yeah, this came out over 20 years ago. We're not willing to put his name out there. We're not doing that.
Everybody knows how terrible the game is. I've looked it up. Everybody agrees the game is atrocious. Some people tell you to skip it. Like it's so bad.
The funny thing is, I know next to nothing about Devil May Cry. I knew the second one was the one that people hated.
Yeah, it's so terrible. It's awful. I feel like I had more complaints, but I started 3 and I got like a couple missions in. I'm like 4 or 5 missions in. And oh my god, what a night and day difference. It's so much better. And like it's so good. Like so
how's 3 compared to 1?
3 compared to 1. It's weird. It kind of went back a step, not back, but like it kind of went back to more controls that were similar to the first game instead of like the second one had a dodge roll. The first one kind of does. If you hit RB and you hold your stick in a certain direction, like left or right, and then press A, it'll dodge roll either left or right, but it will not do it forward and back or like omni, like around. The third one's the same as that, whereas 2 just had a dedicated dodge roll button to press at all times and dodge roll around.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's like the only thing I think I liked about 2 is that felt better than I can only dodge roll in specific directions, which I'll just mess up and like hold the stick a little at the wrong angle and stuff.
Right.
But other than that, everything was pretty bad. It had a wall run mechanic, which seemed like it would be fun if it was used at any point in the game, and it's not. So
gotta love it.
The only thing about the wall running is the B button is the one you use to wall run. Is the same button you use to press to open a door and go through the door. So what you do instead, if you're not perfectly lined up, is run up a wall.
Jesus Christ! Oh, that's so
bad.
That's rough.
3 it actually seems to have a story. It has dialogue. It's hilarious so far. I'll say it's so goofy. Like this girl flies into a window on a motorcycle, like fires a rocket launcher backwards over her at like just like this, looking the opposite direction at Dante, who jumps on top of the rocket and then rides it around the room. It's a very goofy story, but it's kind of hilarious for it. So.
Honestly, after Devil May Cry 2, they were just like, just try anything. We'll see what happens. We'll see what sticks.
And you know what? They gave Dante more character. They added like different styles of combat, so you can like level up the styles and have like slightly different like ways of playing the game. They added like a bunch of stuff that was like just making combat feel a lot better. And it does. Combat feels better. Story, I don't know if it's good, but it's at least entertaining.
Mhm.
I hear people say it is good, so I'm very early on, and we'll see.
Hell yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've been loving, compared to the second one, even compared to the first one, which I was like, yeah, I could see this is a good game. It's just very dated.
Right. Yep.
Combat surprisingly held up, like I said, but everything else is just, this is good but very dated. 2, dated and terrible. 3, it's a PS2 game, so it's a little dated, but it's such a leap forward. It just feels great.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask this question, comparing it to two different games, because again, like I said, I've never played Devil May Cry. Just from the images I've seen and the like bits of gameplay that I've seen, how does the gameplay compare to something like Dante's Inferno on the Xbox 360? Is it similar at all? Like, again, just seeing
Combat
images.
Is harder. So so Dante's Inferno is like old God of War games.
I was going to say it's more
button
like
mashy.
Okay. This is
you
more.
Don't really want to be doing that you can to an extent, but it's swapping between, like, especially in 3 when you can quick swap weapons and stuff, it's swapping between weapons because you always have your melee and your guns accessible to you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always be shooting or comboing, especially in the first 2 games. Definitely the first one, combos are like mostly on one button, but it's pausing at different times to get the combos to do it. So it's not just pressing different buttons. And 3 has those as well. 2 kind of did, I think, but it didn't really feel like it. So I don't really know. I like I said, I mostly shot my way through the game anyway. But yeah, you don't want to be button mashing. There's different combos that work better for different scenarios. If you're fighting different types of enemies, certain attacks work better. You'll have like a lunge attack if you need to, like, if you only have a very short window to hit them between, you're going to get hit and stuff. And then the game scores you on style and like everything like that. So you want to be switching it up to get higher points. And then also, just because the way that combat's working, you're going to have to be swapping different combos. It's not just sitting there smashing a button over and over again to win the whole thing.
Right. Okay. And I don't know if you've ever played these games. I think this is going to be more along the whole Dante's Inferno thing as opposed to Devil May Cry.
I love Dante's Inferno too. That game was great.
Dude, it was so much fun. Did you ever play Darksiders? Any of those games?
Yeah.
Okay. Because just like, I would say probably towards the end of last year, and maybe early this year, maybe, I don't remember when. I think it was just last year I went through Darksiders 1 and 2, and they were really cool games. Again, it's probably just like my brain associating images and stuff with that. I don't think it, like, compared to what you're saying, it doesn't sound anything like it, but it just kind of came into my head and was curious.
Yeah, and I think it becomes more that, like, as the series goes on too, it's like it gets very complicated with the different combos and everything, and combat becomes a lot more reactive and
interesting.
They're not very button mashy. You won't get too far if you try doing that. Enemies can stagger and can break combos and things, so it's
good to know. I'm definitely looking forward to jumping into that series at some point. Like, I know we were talking about it very briefly. You said they're all on sale on Steam right now for $15.
Yeah, the whole, like, all 6 games, $15, and it's not like a bundle where it's like you get that or nothing. Like, because you can the HD collection 1 through 3 are a bundle, but then it includes Devil May Cry 4, DMC, Devil May Cry, and Devil May Cry 5, which are not normally in a bundle. So if you want to get 1 or 2 of them individually, you can.
Hell yeah!
Nice. And they're all on sale. So
hell yeah! I don't know anything about. I mean, just based on the fact that you haven't gotten to 4 yet, I don't know anything about that, but I've heard good things about 5, so I'm very
I've heard good things about pretty much all of them except for 2 and DMC Devil May Cry.
Yeah,
and DMC Devil May Cry, I'm not 100% sure what to think on that because I look on Steam and it has very positive reviews.
Is it?
It might just be how it was, like, supposed to be like a relaunch of the series, and Dante looks to be a very different character. I'm not there yet, so I don't know, but.
And again, as much as you might not know this, so again, get in the comments for those of you who know better. Is it a remake of the first one, or is it a reboot?
I think it's a reboot. It's a different game entirely, and Dante looks to be like an entire, like, he doesn't even look the same. So I don't know what they did with his character other than that. But
so yeah, definitely keep me updated as you go through everything, and I'm very curious.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they'll do like a Devil May Cry 6 kind of soon, because 5 still sells well. It has amazing reviews, and they just put out the second season of the anime, which I know people are kind of torn on and not really liking too much.
You know, I'm kind of curious because we have SGF coming up, and I mean, Capcom's on a fucking roll. Even just this year, between they have already released 3 games that have sold incredibly well. They like Resident Evil Requiem right at the beginning of the year. I think a month later, Monster Hunter Stories 3 that was reviewed very well, and Pragmata, which definitely outsold their expectations for sure. The fact that they're already saying they wanted to be a franchise. I think it's still slated for 2026, so I think during SGF we might get a date for Onimusha: Way of the Sword. It would be pretty cool if we, maybe at the end of that. I mean, we know there's a new Mega Man game in development. We know about that one from the Game Awards as well. So it would be kind of cool if we see something Devil May Cry related, especially with the anime.
The anime they just had a second season for, so
I can totally see something like Devil. Honestly, that could be a Game Awards announcement. Honestly,
it could. Yeah, I could see that.
That would be pretty cool.
But these games all seem to be pretty short, so they seem to be really high on like replayability and like challenge modes and runs and getting better times and better scores for the whole level and that kind of thing. But
I was gonna say it's very arcadey in that sense.
Yeah, in that sense, yes, very much. There's a lot of replayability there and like things to do after you beat it. Not gonna do that for the older ones. I just kind of wanted to get the experience, get the story, move on. But maybe I could see 5, 4 doing that.
Yeah,
a little bit at least.
Being more modern, having like just more modern gameplay that we're used to. Being able to jump in. But hell yeah, just keep us updated. So Randy, we obviously had the doc open, and we were kind of talking about news just at the beginning of the episode, saying that there wasn't anything major. What was the news segment that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I just wanted to really quickly bring up the Warhorse stuff that they announced this past week. Didn't
even hear about this.
You didn't? Okay, so they announced that there is another Kingdom Come game in development. They specifically did not say Deliverance 3. They did say it is open world, but they said it is a open world Kingdom Come game. So I don't think it'll have Henry as the protagonist. And with the other announcement, I don't think it'll be that big of a game. I don't think it'll be like the size of KCD2 or anything. Because the other announcement was they're making an open world Lord of the Rings RPG. That was rumored previously. People have been talking about it, but they had fully confirmed that they are working on that. And so between those two things, they haven't like given release dates for anything. Actually, I think they said they are aiming for next year for the Kingdom Come game.
That's pretty cool. I did hear about this very briefly.
Yes.
So I know a little bit.
So they were both rumored, but they just fully confirmed it. I'm assuming that the Kingdom Come thing is going to be a smaller project. They did say open world, but with the other thing that would probably be a massive undertaking, and them not saying Kingdom Come Deliverance 3, I could see it being a side project in the series and being smaller scope than that.
Yeah, especially with them working on other things. And again, having not played Kingdom Come Deliverance or anything yet, just knowing what I know, I feel like the Lord of the Rings RPG seems something that's
a slam dunk for them.
Totally up there. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, that I am. Honestly, them making Lord of the Rings would just fill a basically Elder Scrolls niche perfectly, like what you would want from a fantasy open world. I don't want to say medieval, but high fantasy kind of open world RPG with a ton of exploration and everything. I trust Warhorse at this point more than I do Bethesda, so
I trust most things more than I do Bethesda, so
I have a little cope still, so
that's fair. But
they haven't released a ton.
That's fair. This totally seems up their alley. I would say the same thing again. I know there was performance issues in trailers, it didn't show well, and we're recording this at the night of the morning this episode should have released. Like I said, schedules just didn't line up, so we're going to be releasing this episode a day or two late, so sorry about that. But we're recording this on May 25th, and on May 27th 007 First Light came out. And again, I think that was very much in the same boat of wow, IO Interactive is making a James Bond game. That just makes fucking sense to me.
I also heard that some of the developers were saying they're excited for that game to come out so they can go back to working on Hitman, which I don't think bodes very well for the James Bond.
It doesn't sound good. I mean, to be fair, it is one of those situations where I look at it and I'm like, that's all they fucking do. That is all IO does. They just do Hitman stuff. And when you're a Hitman fan, you are a hardcore Hitman fan. And I think that's what they do. They just sit at their fucking screens for 16 hours a day. They have to take a break to go eat, and they're just thinking, I can't wait to get back to Hitman. I could throw this bagel at somebody right now for it.
I've never used as a weapon. Hitman, so
that's fair. It's like a briefcase thing. It's like the briefcase weapon in home is on people. That was the kind of the joke I was going for. It was a bit of a stretch, but
I'm sure it was hilarious.
Thank you. In the comments, let me know. But no, slam dunk. This is the right studio to do it. They have enough good faith. They have enough goodwill. They know what they're doing with it. My question is, when do you I haven't seen the article. I didn't look into it too much. When do you think it comes out? Because do you think this is hitting around the same time as Elder Scrolls 6? Is it going to be some weird overlap?
That'd be weird. Because I don't know if I was correct in seeing them say that they're aiming for next year with the Kingdom Come game. I can't imagine it would be for at least another like 3 years.
Right. So, which is, I mean, again, 2026. When do you think Elder Scrolls 6 could come out? Are you like, I hear people
I'm thinking
talking
27 or 28. I would think 2028 is probably more likely though.
Okay. And if that is the case, a year difference is perfect, I think. I think that's great. I don't think you want to release... I mean, Lord of the Rings is a massive IP. It doesn't really matter. Like, that, you know, it'll have its audience.
As long as they didn't come out like the same month, I think that would be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all the Lord of the Rings fans out there, get hyped.
Or
I can't wait to try.
Fantasy RPG fans, that's going to be...
Yeah, regardless of anything, because I'm psyched to jump into Kingdom Come, and I want to see what this is like.
Just a little personal thing for me. Seeing as it's a Lord of the Rings thing, I kind of hope they don't do like, and they already have like Henry as a set protagonist in Kingdom Come. I kind of hope they do like you can be a dwarf, you could be a hobbit, you could be a elf. I hope they let you kind of just be completely open with your character and like do whatever you want, build it the way you want.
Way more immersive with your character creator as opposed to like the created character that you're being forced into kind of thing.
And I think he's great in Kingdom Come, but in a Lord of the Rings thing, it's like that's people are going to want to experience their own, because we've never gotten something like that, at least not in the past however long. Like
I mean, what was the last big one in any sense? Like
Shadow of Mordor? Like
I was gonna say, has it been since Shadow of Mordor? Jesus Christ.
At least
fans are starving.
RPG like that.
Right.
I know the Lord of the Rings MMO still gets an okay player base and people are really into that game. Apparently the writing's pretty good. I've never tried it, but yeah,
that's good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
But get hyped for that. All right, Randy, do you want to jump into our main topic here?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to try and set my computer up in a way that this works. Okay, everything should look.
Where are you pulling this up from? I'll pull it up at the same.
Here, I'll send you the link really quick. We are just going to be talking about Game of the Year winners and nominees. We're going to go year by year, and we are going to quite literally just discuss what won, what should have won, and what got snubbed for what we think could have been in there. Again, like there are some years that I'm not too familiar with, so we can kind of like, I might even just pull up on the side like a whole other list of like games that came out in that year. That's actually funny. I'm looking at 2014's right now, so you'll know why it's funny when you look at the list. But so again, I want to start this off by saying I love Jeff Keighley events. It's always fun to just see the announcements he has lined up, regardless of anything. Like, it's just a fun day to kind of celebrate games. I know like I said, there's always one group that's way more upset than the others. There's always the people that have their fan favorite games and stuff. But at the end of the day, it is people judging. It is a panel of judges. They go one way. A lot of times, those single player, narrative driven story games, their very artistic expressions will definitely get bigger votes than your favorite multiplayer game, this and that. So right now, with what we're discussing, we are mostly discussing what is on the board here, and then we'll bring up like, well, 2014 had this incredible multiplayer game, this and that. So that's where we're going to talk about the snubs and stuff like that, where we can bring them in. But I just wanted to preface that by saying we're looking at the Game Awards nominees and winners.
Yep.
So any problems you have with us, put it in Jeff Keighley's comments. No, you can put it in ours. I'll pass it along to him.
Yeah, we're definitely on speaking terms.
100%. I've spoken to him. I've spoken to a guy named Jeff. Not spelled that way, though. So I don't even think I know Jeff. I think that's a lie. That's crazy. I don't know a single Jeff. In all of my years of school, I didn't meet a single Jeff. That's insane.
Oh, wait, I know a Jeffrey. I don't think he goes by Jeff.
That's actually hilarious. Okay. But so for 2014, we'll start it right off. I'm going to read it from the bottom of the list up. That way we mentioned the winner last. So just listed here in the order that's on the site. We're literally pulling this from Wikipedia. We're not doing crazy research here, but it's all collected. So we have Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, which is why that was fucking hilarious. So that was 12 years ago. Fans are starving, man. Mm-hmm. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Hearthstone, Dark Souls 2, Bayonetta 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. And Dragon Age Inquisition was the winner. Now, Randy, even just from these six, we'll limit it to just these six. Do you have any strong feelings? Guys, I did a 10-hour stream. I can't count. I'm so used to it being 6 now. I'm actually curious, what year did they change it to 6?
Seems 2018.
That's hilarious. Okay. So out of these 6 games, out of these 5 games, do you have strong feelings? Like, have you played, what's
I've
your
played some of these. I've beaten none of these.
I was going to say, because we also have to be very honest with ourselves, because, between the two of us, we've played a lot of different kinds of games.
The only one here I haven't played at all is Bayonetta 2.
Okay. So honestly, I don't think I've touched any one of these. So go off if you want.
I played Shadow of War, not Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
A little bit. But I think from just looking at these games and my own personal opinions, I think Dragon Age Inquisition is probably the right call. I don't think it's a masterpiece 10 out of 10. But I didn't play Bayonetta 2. I think people like that one. Obviously, it was nominated, so it must be good. Dark Souls 2, especially at the time before they released Scholar of the First Sin, people were not very crazy about. It didn't have Miyazaki as a game director like every other Dark Souls game does. It was just a little wrong. It was easier than the rest of them, and people weren't huge on the boss design. So I don't think I don't think it's a terrible game, but Hearthstone is a card game, and they want your real money. I don't even know why that was nominated, to be honest. It has its fans. Maybe it was not as money hungry when it first came out, and that's probably why it was so beloved then. I know it still has its fans now. So, but I think between these, it would have to just be down to Shadow of Mordor and Inquisition, and I think it can go either way. I'm not mad about Inquisition taking that.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up a list of games that came out in 2014, and I'll be real with you. Well, it's funny because I'm scrolling through another list. I can't find a great list because the list that I'm pulling up real quick on Wikipedia, I did not set up for this episode whatsoever. It's a lot of here's a re-release, here's a port, here's this, here's that, and here's a mobile game, and I'm like, I don't really want all this stuff. However, when I did stop scrolling, it did land on Octodad, the Dadliest Catch, and that's a snub.
That got snubbed.
That's a fucking snub. Ridiculous. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Titanfall 1 came out that year.
Okay.
I don't know if I would say that's a snub. It was a really fun multiplayer shooter. It didn't even have a campaign though at the time, so to put that as game of the year when limited lifespan of that.
Right. And and that's to say again, it's just because the Game Awards doesn't talk about multiplayer games in the same way as they do those single player games. Because Titanfall 2 got the campaign, and I mean Titanfall 1's multiplayer was very highly regarded, wasn't it?
I think a lot of people like it better than Titanfall 2's.
Yeah, so it did really well. Like I said, is it a snub or is it just it's really something that we just want to bring up?
I don't know if I would call it a snub. I would put it in place of Hearthstone there personally, but I'm not heard about it. So
yeah, totally fair. Did Infamous Second Son came out that year? That was a fun game.
Was it that year or was it 2013?
I have it listed here as March 21st on PS4, so I imagine it was this year. But again, I have
that was a really fun game too. So yeah, I could see that going on in place of Dark Souls 2 or Hearthstone or something like that for me personally. But yeah, I don't think there's anything egregious here. Yeah,
like I said, we're going to be very honest with what we've played, what I've played, and like I said, I played none of those. So it's going to be really funny because I proposed this idea, and we're going to get down to it, and I'm going to be I've played 4 of these games.
Yep.
Over 12 years, but we'll get there. So again, I always ask for comments and stuff, any kinds of suggestions. If any game that we don't mention came out a certain year that you're wow, I can't believe you guys didn't talk about that, mention it. Because if we didn't talk about it, we either completely missed it on the Wikipedia page, or we forgot it came out that year, or we didn't play it, and I want to hear about your favorite games so that I can play them and put them on my list. 100%. So we'll jump into 2015 then.
Yeah, that works.
2015 had Super Mario Maker listed, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, Fallout 4, Bloodborne, and the winner with Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Randy, I'm kind of gonna let you start again. Which of these you don't have to get into them right away, but which of these games have you played or beaten? What's your experience with these?
I've played all but Super Mario Maker.
Okay.
I've beaten Fallout 4.
Okay, that is fair.
With that being said, I'm sure we've probably mentioned it at some point. If not, you're probably going to hear it ad nauseum from me. I do not like The Witcher 3. I understand it is an amazing game. This is just a personal preference thing. I understand why it won. I believe it is the right pick here. I think you can make an argument for the Phantom. You can make an argument for a lot of the games here, honestly. Super Mario Maker, I'm not really including. I don't really know why that's there, to be honest with you.
It's
It
the
has its
Nintendo
fans.
thing.
It's for people. It's one of those. It's good at what it does, but I don't think it had broad enough appeal to be like a massive thing, and it's not my kind of thing. Of these, though, Bloodborne is regarded as one of the best FromSoft games. Fallout 4 is decent. I don't hate it, but I was able to beat it. I don't love it though either, so it has a lot of problems, I think. Phantom Pain is same thing as Witcher 3. Not my personal cup of tea, but I understand why it's rated what it is. And so I think you can give it between Witcher 3 and Phantom Pain. And like, honestly, Bloodborne is close too. So
yeah,
Bloodborne's amazing.
Yeah, 2015, like it definitely looks like, just on paper, it definitely looks like a stronger showing than what 2014 had. My experience with this year is incredibly limited. I have not touched Super Mario Maker. That's not usually my kind of thing. Like I said, I want to go through all the Metal Gear Solid games, so I haven't touched the Phantom Pain, but I definitely want to at some point. You guys know at this point probably that Bethesda isn't my cup of tea either. Like, Skyrim was my token Bethesda game, and that is all I've been able to do from them. I have never gotten far in Fallout 4.
Didn't you 100% Oblivion?
Yes. It was awful. I wouldn't do it again.
Really?
Well, okay. Let me say. So, Oblivion, the reason why it was awful purely is because my console crashed every 15.
The game has performance problems. If you're talking about the remaster, it has performance problems.
The remaster. Yeah. And I never played the original. That was my first time going through.
I beat the original and not the remaster.
That's fair. Yeah, no, it was atrocious. And then again, in kind of in a very similar vein, though, definitely not as harsh as Bethesda, or sorry, definitely harsher than Bethesda. I don't like From Software. I've never tried Bloodborne, and I will at some point. This is not like, this is me just saying
that they need to port that to they need to port that to a console that isn't the PS4.
They really do. It's one of those things where like I'm waiting, but not because I'm excited to play it, just because I don't care enough to do it now. That if anyone would say wait, I'll be like, you got it, Chief. I will wait 20 years if I need to. I am not hyped to do that. But that's just me with From Software. I haven't liked what I've played. I'll get to Bloodborne at some point to give it the shot, and to give it the fair shot it deserves, of course, because I hear so many good things about it. So realistically, the only experience I've had in any of these games was The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, which I got all the achievements in except for the Gwent stuff and beating it on the hardest difficulty. Because that game is fucking long as shit, and I did everything in my first playthrough, and I had a couple of glitched achievements, so I went back on the easiest difficulty and just redid all of the hunts as quick as I could to get some. Man, I love being in that world. I totally get the reasons that you don't like it. Like, we've talked about this before.
I'll just bring it up quickly for a case. Yeah, just I'm not a big fan of Geralt as a character. I think he's pretty boring. And then experiencing the world through his eyes and hearing him, and I think his voice is kind of cringy, so it's like just I didn't like going through. The world itself looks really cool, and but yeah, I don't know.
And that's one of the things, like, I was actually going to bring that up when you were talking about what you wanted in the Lord of the Rings RPG, because you mentioned, like, hey, I want to be able to pick my class, my own character, create my character like that, as opposed to going through a tailored experience for this. And I think that has a lot to do with The Witcher 3. Like, because honestly, if you were able to create your own Witcher in The Witcher 3, do you think you would be way more
like it more? I don't love the combat. I don't think it's bad, but I don't love it. And then honestly, as amazingly well written as the story is and everything, a lot of the open world like activities and stuff kind of seem to give me some like Ubisoft vibes.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I don't. It just. I understand why it's rated what it is. The story seems fucking outstanding. Especially like I remember I got to like that. What was that? The Bloody Baron or something like that.
Quest.
Yeah, I got through that and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I've tried this game so many times. I've probably given it more than like 10 times, and I got to that spot like and it's I can't really get past it. Like once I beat that, I'm like, this is amazing. And I do like one or two more quests. And I'm like, and I'm lost. You're losing me again. Like,
totally fair. Yeah, a lot of them. Like I found it to be very interesting, and like you said, it was very open world Ubisoft checkboxy. Go here, destroy the monster nest. Go here, kill the people. Go here, do this. But I think that there was like, whereas in Ubisoft, a lot of games, at least I don't feel like there's a large amount of variety. With The Witcher, there was enough variety with enough quests, with enough different things. Like every monster, like most monster hunts and nests were different enough where I was like, okay, I'm still doing the same thing, but I have to use this potion. I got to do this. Like there was still some kind of brain power being used. But again, for all the reasons you're saying, completely understandable. I don't.
Yeah, and like Kingdom Come, like we've said, has a pre-made character, and I love that game. So that's not necessarily like a be-all end-all for me.
Right, for sure. But yeah, so I pulled up. This is a GameSpot list of top 25 games of 2015, just to see if there was anything in here that I missed. I didn't scroll too far, but I can tell you it's not looking like it. Because 25 is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I'm seeing Halo 5 Guardians. I'm seeing Undertale, but again, like if I'm being real,
didn't that not get like fully released for?
I don't actually know what its release was. I know Deltarune does episodes. I don't know how Undertale.
I don't think Undertale did actually. I might just be mixing the two up.
That's fair. I know Undertale is definitely beloved, so like it probably was up for some kind of award. Again, we're only looking at Game of the Year, so maybe we'll do some other categories some other time, but that's not what we're looking into. On this list is also Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. We have Just Cause 3, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Like at this, I'm just listing games that are on here that were 2015. Splatoon, Until Dawn, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Ori and the Blind Forest. People really like.
Yeah.
And then I think when we get to like the top.
But yeah, it doesn't look like anything was like snubbed. I could see you wanting to pick or choose something else that goes in there for a personal preference, but it doesn't look like, again, nothing egregious.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll jump into 2016. Again, we'll kind of do it where I'll list the games, hand it off to you, and tell me your experience with them. It's going to be another quick year. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, Titanfall 2, Inside, Doom, and Overwatch was the winner. Now, go for it. What's your experience with these games? We'll start off there.
Very funny how we were talking about like not really multiplayer heavy, and then not only did one win, but Titanfall 2 is up there, and that's
there.
The campaign amazing, but
yeah,
probably not what people were playing it too much for.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've played everything here that isn't not Inside.
Okay. You played Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't beat it, but I did play it.
That's right. I forgot that you had a PlayStation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I used to have a PS4. Don't know why I didn't beat that because I did like that game.
That's just who you were.
Yeah, probably. I think for me personally, I'd probably put Titanfall 2 over Overwatch for Game of the Year. But Lasting Legacy, they probably made the right call.
Yeah.
People stayed with Overwatch a lot more than Titanfall 2. I think that's just because like you unlocked things pretty quick in that game, and once you did all the unlocks, it wasn't like a very competitive game like Overwatch is. So the replay value is just you get through, you unlock everything, and then for fun every once in a while you hop in, but it's not like going to keep your time. For me personally, Titanfall 2 over Overwatch, but again, not really a snub. Yeah, I haven't played Inside at all.
Yeah, I in a similar way, I haven't played Uncharted 4. Again, that's on like my list of PlayStation titles to hit within the next couple of years. I want to do the Uncharted series. I'm doing Ghost of Yotei currently. I think the only other games that I haven't done yet have been The Last of Us Part 2, the Uncharted series, and The Last Guardian. That one's a very loose one, but I want to touch on that. So I haven't done Uncharted 4. Titanfall 2, the most I've probably done is maybe a multiplayer game or a few. I definitely want to jump back in and do the campaign because obviously so many people talk about that. I don't know anything about Inside. The only Doom game I played has been Doom: The Dark Ages when that came out last year, so that's a big miss for me as well. And
I think Doom's not for me.
That's fair.
I've played all of the newer ones. I've beaten none of them, and I just get to a point where it's like I'm enjoying it for the first probably like couple of hours, and they're not very long, but like the first 3 hours I'm having fun, and then I just kind of get tired of it.
There's 3 after because this was the first reboot, right? It was Doom, Doom Eternal, and Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I haven't done anything with Overwatch. I'm not the multiplayer guy like at all. You guys will very quickly realize, especially with the rest of this list, you'll probably realize immediately that I don't play multiplayer games, so I don't know much about Overwatch. But again, for the exact same reason,
I've played a lot of it, but
for the exact same reason, I agree with you completely. For staying power and just what it did, Overwatch was probably the right choice. Again, I've heard really good things about Uncharted 4, but I don't have enough stake and I don't know enough to talk about it. So, I really hope that this conversation gets a little bit more interesting later on because we're kind of just like, here's a list of games. You played it? Nope. All right. Next year.
Yeah, I've played a lot of these though. So
yeah. So I mean, I like what you said. It makes sense. A lot of people like what Titanfall 2 did. Sorry, I'm also looking.
You're gonna have a lot to say for next year, I see.
I did look, and so that'll be interesting. Again, just out of curiosity, I'm looking up like best games of 2016. I'm looking at like just completely random lists because again, I did not prepare for this episode, but apparently The Last Guardian came out in 2016, which is interesting.
Here, I'll look up 2017, so we just keep it flowing.
Okay, yeah. Final Fantasy 15 came out in 2016, apparently. Dishonored 2 did.
Oh, that's a snub.
Dark Souls 3 also came out.
Dark Souls 3 might be a little bit of a snub, too. I think the only reason they wouldn't have done that is because Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 were in the years before it.
Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked because like people don't
Dark
talk
Souls
very
3
highly.
is beloved.
Yeah. That's actually kind of... I'm not as shocked about Dishonored 2, while I think it's a snub personally. It's crazy that Dark Souls 3 isn't in the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I'm seeing other games like I'm seeing like Battlefield 1. I'm not shocked what isn't talked about. Gears of War 4, Firewatch.
Battlefield 1, so I'm a little shocked, but that probably won something.
Yeah, I was gonna say like all the other categories that were there. Same with Firewatch. Firewatch may have won like some kind of indie. I don't know when they started doing an indie category, but maybe it won something for that. I'm seeing like Ratchet. The Ratchet and Clank, not the one I was thinking about. But yeah, so damn, a lot of good games in 2016 though.
Yep.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I'll jump in. I'll list off the 2017 games. Wow, no, yeah, I'll be able to talk about this year for sure. We have Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Breath of the Wild. Randy, top level thoughts. What have you played? What's your experience with these?
I've played Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, and PUBG.
Okay. Did you beat Zero Dawn or Breath of the Wild?
Yes, I did. I beat Zero Dawn. I did not beat Breath of the Wild.
You didn't beat Breath? I'm actually shocked at that. Okay.
It's not for me.
Okay. That's fair. You know what? We didn't talk about it extensively, so
yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I've played and beaten Super Mario Odyssey. I've never played vanilla Persona 5. I've only played Royal. So I'm only going to go off of what I know about the differences. But I platinumed Horizon Zero Dawn, and I played and beaten Breath of the Wild. I think this is League's the right choice.
Yeah,
like
I think this is probably the right choice.
Yeah, it makes
it's
sense.
definitely better than Zero Dawn, and I can tell you right now, because looking at a list of some games that came out this year, there was a snub.
Nier Automata. Yeah, I can disgusting. That now, granted, I look at this list and I'm like, it wouldn't have gone in over Breath of the Wild. I don't think it would have gone over Super Mario Odyssey. They love Nintendo, and Nintendo does a lot of things well. But like, I wouldn't. I don't know.
It beats out Horizon Zero Dawn. Like it's.
I mean, that's fair.
It clears it, and I don't think having PUBG is bad because what it did, it creating Battle Royale, making that it didn't create it, but it blew up Battle Royales.
Right, for what it did. Again, staying power, it kind of deserves to be there in retrospect.
It does deserve to be there. I think Horizon Zero Dawn should not be there. I think Nier Automata should. Especially over Nier Automata. And I'm high on Zero Dawn. Like, I love Zero Dawn. It's interesting because I had first started on my PS4, and I think we had a lot of the same problems, which was interesting because when I played it on stream 2 years ago now? No, 3 years ago. I played it 23. So when I played it on stream in 23, I didn't encounter any of the problems that we talked about. And it was like, oh, what the hell was I doing wrong before? Because what were your problems with Zero Dawn? Mainly, like, the story was okay. It kind of had the Ubisoft thing with the open world stuff. And then the big thing for me was, like, the combat. I wasn't, like... It just took too long, and there was too many encounters. So it's like, I could take, like, one or the other. You could give me a ton of encounters. Or you can make combat take a while. And I understand you're fighting these giant mech dinosaur things. Like, it shouldn't be where you just immediately destroy the thing. But when I fight one, it takes like a good couple of minutes, and I'm like placing those like trap things or whatever. And then I like take like 7 steps, and there's another one, and I have to do it again. And I'm like,
yeah.
All right.
My initial problem was actually like, I felt like I wasn't kind of like that. I felt like I wasn't doing enough damage. So I was trying to get like more resources to upgrade weapons. But to get those, I needed stronger weapons to defeat the enemies I needed to get the resources from. So I felt like I was stuck in a loop. But like I said,
oh no, you're good.
Like I said, like when I was playing it on stream, I felt like I didn't have that problem anymore. Like I don't know if I was upgrading things differently, doing different things in like a skill tree, using different ammo effectively better. But it was weird because I had the exact same issue. I felt like everything was taking too long, and exactly, there were way too many of them.
And then just another quick one. I don't really know what it would have went over here, but Destiny 2 also came out this year. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did. Pokemon Sun and Moon. So actually, no, Ultra Sun. Sun and Moon came out in 2016, so Ultra Sun came out this year.
Okay.
I get that not being. I'm not really upset about no Pokemon games being there, but oh yeah, also Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Oh, man, people like that one too.
Yeah. So there's a couple I think that could have been put in. I understand for the most part what was put in here, but I think replace Nier Automata or Horizon Zero Dawn with Nier Automata.
Yeah. No, I agree with that completely.
Oh, sorry. Also, Divinity Original Sin 2.
That came out in 2017. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of these things where I'm looking at it, and again, like, I never played vanilla Persona 5, but I do wonder how people, like, how well it was received when it first came out versus Royal, because I feel like knowing what differences Royal made, I don't think I would ever want to play base Persona 5. Like, it sounds... It sounds like everything that I love that they did in Royal, all the quality of life stuff, all the stuff that's absent in Persona 5 would make it just be like, wow, this is not great. So that's why it's like, I'm looking forward to Persona 6, but I'm also like, what are they going to leave out?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? How's this going to feel like shit after a couple of years? But I don't know. So that's why I can't talk too much about Persona 5. But no, absolutely. Like, out of all the games you listed for 2017, Nier Automata should absolutely be in this list.
Yeah.
Absolute snub. All right. Want to jump into 2018?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So, like you said, this is where we start to get 6 nominees. So 2018 showed with Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel Spider-Man, Celeste, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and God of War, the 2018 reboot. What's your experience with these games?
Okay, so I've played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a little bit of Marvel's Spider-Man. I haven't beaten Odyssey either. I've beaten and played, obviously, Monster Hunter World and Red Dead Redemption 2, and I have no experience with Celeste.
Okay, yep. I have played and platinumed God of War 2018. I have played and gotten all the achievements in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have played and platinumed Marvel Spider-Man. I haven't touched Celeste. Monster Hunter is so not my kind of thing, especially with the multiplayer bullshit that they had in World, and that they continued in Wilds, but that's a conversation for a different time. And I have little experience with Red Dead Redemption 2. I've really enjoyed what I've done. I just haven't done a lot of it yet.
Yeah.
With that being said, this is honestly a tough year. But
yeah, it's tough because I'm not like, well, okay. So personally, I'm saying Red Dead Redemption 2 clears God of War.
That's fair. Yeah. I think that would have been the right choice.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm not like too. I really liked Monster Hunter World. It did have multiplayer problems, but just gameplay and like everything wise, I like Monster Hunter, so it very good game still. I don't really care about God of War. It's fine. I know why people like it. The story is really cool. The combat's really good, but it is a very linear and one and done kind of experience, it seems. I know you like Odyssey a lot. I didn't care.
I mean, I liked Odyssey a lot. I'm not going to tell you it's a great game. Like,
okay, fair enough. That's so fair.
I like Assassin's Creed. It's not good, but I like it.
I love Greek mythology, and I couldn't play that game. I don't know. I've tried it so many times, and I fall asleep.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is that is the definitive. Here's open world sludge. I don't care what you do, but here's 3,000 things of it. So I think Red Dead 2 should have been Game of the Year. I don't hate God of War. I know everybody loved that, especially at the time. I think with staying power, people still talk higher about Red Dead 2. So here's how I feel about it. I think Red Dead 2 should have gotten it. Monster Hunter World, I haven't played enough to kind of talk about. Like I said, I just had too many multiplayer issues to even try to begin to enjoy that game. Marvel Spider-Man was fantastic. I think they did very good with they did a very good job with the antagonist and story. I think there are some slow sections that definitely shouldn't have been in there that kind of detracted from the overall fun of it. But swinging around the city is always fun. Like, no matter what you're doing, that's a fun time. I haven't played Celeste. I know it's one of the highest talked about indie games, platformers. It looks like a goddamn nightmare. Does not look like my kind of thing, but it looks incredibly fun. I love Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It is not a good game. I'm like, honestly, for the last like 15 years of Assassin's Creed, I think this is the only one that deserves to be in a Game of the Year conversation. So I'm at least glad it was there, if anything. But whatever. And get in the comments if you want to fight me about it, man. I played God of War 2018 for the first time last year. I played it like October, so like late fall. I don't get it, man. It's the same way that I felt about The Last of Us. People talked about The Last of Us as being like one of the best stories in gaming. And brother, it was fine. I get it. And people are like, you just didn't get like the emotional aspect of the end of the game. I'm like, no, it was not lost on me. But I think it also comes from the fact, like, in terms of Last of Us, I was playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. You know, very different in connotations, but like, if you're talking emotional impact and like what's going on, I feel like there's emotional moments in games like Yakuza and other games that I'm playing that hit hard too. And this is not to detract from what The Last of Us were doing, but in a similar way to what I'm about to say from God of War, it was built up way too high in my mind, and it did not reach that expectation. With God of War 2018, people act as if it's the greatest action game of all time. And don't get me wrong, it's great and it feels good. I don't think it's the best action game of all time. So when I got to it, as much fun as I had, I was still sitting there being like, isn't this supposed to be better? Like, I have my videos up on YouTube. If anyone wants to go fucking check it out, I have my own VOD channel. Me and Nick literally did the final fight in God of War 2018 that people praised to high heavens. And I looked at Nick and I was like, all right, dude, here it comes. Here's the real fight. Credits. And I'm like, that couldn't have been it. That's what people were screaming about? Like, it was good. But this is it? That's the end of it? So no. Like like the only detriment of God of War 2018 is that people talk so highly about it that someone like me who didn't get to play it when it came out is, I think, set for disappointment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I don't think it...
Did you beat Red Dead 2?
No, I did not.
No, okay. Yeah, the ending of that game's amazing. I'm not going to spoil anything, so I won't say much more.
Right, yeah, no, yeah. I'll keep it vague. It's like, and again, this is not me saying that the combat in God of War 2018 is bad by any means. Like, nothing about it is bad. It was a phenomenal game. I had so much fun going back and getting the platinum after I finished it on stream. It was more so just the expectations were set too high. I was expecting the world, and it was fine.
Yeah.
That's where I got. Yeah, so I'm excited to check out Ragnarok, especially if it's more of the same. I'll have fun with it, but no, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 should have gotten it for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Were there any other like big games that came out in 2018? Like I
didn't look at that list. I didn't see, not seeing much, but
yeah, I'm seeing like top games in 2018. Forza Horizon 6. All right, maybe I'm not gonna look at that list. I just simply won't look. I mean, okay, did Pokemon Legends Arceus come out that year? Far Cry 5, maybe?
No, it didn't.
It did not?
Because Sword and Shield came out in 19.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Man, all these are wrong. It's a good thing you said that, because that would have sucked. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything like pop out super
Octopath Traveler?
Okay. I mean, I can see
Dragon
that
Quest 11, Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, wow. Wait. Why is that listed? Oh. I was like, wait, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out in 2018. It was past the cutoff date for 2018s. So
yeah, I was like, I see it in 2019's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We can jump into 2019 then.
Yeah, let's do it, because I can't find anything massive. 2019. Very interesting list just looking at this. The Outer Worlds, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Death Stranding, Control, and Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Randy, what games have you played?
A little bit of Sekiro, a little bit of Death Stranding, and I didn't like the Outer Worlds, and I played quite a bit of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I've touched a lot of these games, but I haven't really like gotten too into most of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, no, I touched Control too. Yeah, I played quite a bit of Control, but I didn't. Again, that was just that was my peak era of I don't finish games. So
That's fair. There was a lot of that.
yeah,
What do you call it? Yeah, I played the Outer Worlds. I played it last year in September, gearing up for the Outer Worlds 2. So I played that recently. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I pretty much unlocked all of the characters and then put it down forever. Didn't do Resident Evil. Death Stranding, tried it last year, right before God of War 2018, and put it down because couldn't do it. Just a weird fucking game. Control I played and got all the achievements in this year, the Ultimate Edition, so I did both DLCs as well. Fucking loved that game. And Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, I will admit this has to be a skill issue in a sense of I am clearly playing this game wrong and I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong.
People say Sekiro is probably the hardest FromSoft game, and I think I would agree.
It's interesting because, like, in my experience of it, it doesn't feel hard. It's just I'm clearly missing a critical component of what you want me to do. Because when I'm fighting enemies one-on-one, I am fucking clearing them. But as soon as there's two guys on the field, I am getting destroyed. I'm not far at all. I'm out, like, I don't even have the Kiri counter. Like, I am literally in the first 15, 20 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
So it's a skill issue, undoubtedly, but it's something I'm missing.
Yeah, it was. So this one is probably like my least played FromSoft game. I didn't get too far into it. I thought the combat was cool, but it was definitely harder than the other ones, which wasn't the only reason I stopped. My main thing with it was like a lack of build variety. I can't.
Okay.
In the other games, you can like make like a dexterity build, a magic build, like a strength build, and just smack things over the head. You only have the one weapon. You have the different like gauntlets that use a different ability, but like that's about it. You can't really change how you're playing at all. So it's one play style, and it is harder because of that. They designed everything around that play style. So if that play style isn't for you, the game's just not gonna be. And then it was just like I don't really like that I couldn't
change it up
at all. Yeah.
Totally understandable. I mean, so what do you think? Do you think it was the right choice?
I think for specific people, I understand why Sekiro would be the game of the year there. If that was like for you, that is like perfect. That is for you. But also, unlike other FromSoft games, since there's no build variety, there's really not as much replay value. You can't try again with a different build, you know? So I don't know. I think Control is probably a good pick for it as well. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a snub. And then looking at just other games that came out that year, I don't know if there's anything else that should have been up here, really. We have Luigi's Mansion 3.
I was going to say Luigi's Mansion 3. That sold insane numbers. Do you know how much that game sold? Did we talk about this?
No, I don't think so.
Randy, I want you to take a guess. I want you to take a guess.
Because you're saying insane, I'm going to have to go high. I'm going to go 5 million. 7 million. 10 million? Just tell me.
14.25 million.
Why?
It was a fun game. I played it. I do think it. Like, I have very high things to talk about with it, but like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, I genuinely, I am shocked that this didn't make it. There was one other game in 2019. This one,
3.
We don't need to.
Star Wars. It's terrible, but it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, for sure. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out that year. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order also came out that year. I think those are the big ones that were standing out to me to be like the big ones that they didn't get brought up here. In my opinion,
in this list, I think I'd put Kingdom Hearts 3 above the Outer Worlds on that, and at least have it nominated, because I don't think I know people have their problems with it. I agree, the game has problems. I don't think it's awful. I think it's a pretty good game still. I had fun, but
that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Sekiro was the right choice. I think Control again, this is also coming from the guy who doesn't like FromSoft. So, again, understand where it's coming from. But I think, like, just from what I know and understand, I think Control clears.
Yeah.
What this was doing.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a down year, though, at least for me personally. These seem like very, like, if it's your niche, it's your niche games.
Yeah, Death Stranding. Again, Control is very much in that vein, too. So I totally see that. Can't fucking wait for Control Resonant, but But yeah, they like Remedy. Remedy is their token weird artistic thing, being like, "What the fuck are you trying to do?" And they're like, "I don't know, but it kind of works." And I think that's a lot of what we're going to see with Control Resonant too. So we'll fucking see.
Yep.
Again, I will get back to Sekiro. I just need to learn what the hell I'm doing wrong, and then I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I just don't understand. But let's jump into 2020. Let's do that.
Sounds good.
Because this will be a fun conversation too. 2020 with their 6: Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. What's your experience with these games, Randy?
Not much with a lot of these. I've recently started Final Fantasy VII. Haven't gotten too far with it. Didn't really understand the hype of Ghost of Tsushima. It seemed like if a company that cared made Assassin's Creed, which means good, but there's a limit there.
That's fair.
I love Hades. I think Hades is my game of the year that year.
Okay.
And I have played Animal Crossing: New Horizons. There's not really a way to beat that game, I don't think. So I can't really.
Yeah. So I actually want to open it. I'll talk about my experience real quick, and then I want to open with it conversation. Haven't played The Last of Us Part 2. Like I said, that's one of the last few PlayStation titles that I need to get to. Animal Crossing, I'm not cozy game coded at all, so it's so not my kind of thing. I didn't play Doom Eternal. Like I said, Doom the Dark Ages is my only one. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I have platinumed 3 times. I fucking love that game. Ghost of Tsushima, I've platinumed, and I really enjoyed that game. I love Sucker Punch. It was, you know what it was? It's Sly. It's the Sly Cooper stuff of being like, oh, this is the stealth stuff that I've loved that they used to do. Fair. And I haven't played Hades. Roguelike weren't my thing. I definitely need to jump into Hades too, because I haven't played that either. And we'll get to that later. But the first thing I want to bring up here, I should have brought it up for Resident Evil 2, because I think Resident Evil 2 was actually the first one. How do you feel about remakes being nominated for Game of the Year?
I think if they're different enough, it can't be a remaster. I think like the Resident Evil 7 one, that's perfectly fine. Resident Evil 2, I think they're basically different games, just with the same general story. So
that's how I feel.
Yeah, so I think that's fine. I think Hades should have taken this for me personally. I understand people like Last of Us Part 2 a lot. I know there were actually some people that had some problems with it, but
I hear a lot of divisiveness, so that's why I look at this and I'm kind of confused.
I never touched that one though, so I can't really speak on it.
So we can't
I wasn't big on Last of Us Part 1, so
and again, like I said, for the same reasons, where it's like I played The Last of Us Part 1 in 2022. Like I played it so late, it was built up to be the greatest thing of all time, and it just didn't feel that way for me. So I was like, okay, whatever, this is fine. PlayStation fans get at me, whatever. I don't know what I would put here. Like if I'm being honest, again, for even a game that I've never played, but for what it did and for how big it blew up and just everything, I would probably give it to Hades. I'd like to give it to Ghost of Tsushima for what they did, but what they did was, like you said, just a pretty good. Like it's not like this game's story was fine. It did exactly what it needed to do for story. The combat was a good action game, and the world looked pretty.
Yeah.
And I think that was it. It was a very good game. It didn't break things down like Hades was doing. So that's why I would probably give it to Hades. While Final Fantasy VII Remake is my favorite one here, I also understand that for the reasons that Final Fantasy, that people didn't like this remake being like, oh, there's way too much fluff. There was way too much filler here. It's too slow. They turned a 3-hour prologue into a 40-hour game. Why are they doing this? I felt none of that when I played it. I was also someone who didn't play Final Fantasy VII first. I don't have any experience with the OG. I played Remake first, and I'm waiting until the trilogy is over to play the OG. Because I feel like if I play the OG now, I'm probably not going to love the third part so much. But I'm prefacing that to say that Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of my favorite games of all time, because we are going to talk about Rebirth later down this list. But that's for later. I would give it to Hades here. Did anything else come out in 2020 that you can think of?
I'm
just
not
off the top
seeing
of
anything. I looked. I'm not seeing anything.
Okay. I mean, Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, Cyberpunk. I forgot that came out that year, but it also wasn't Game of the Year worthy at the time. Yeah. So
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yes or no? That game
was
nothing else really. I'm looking at like the best-selling games, and like most of them were from the previous year. So it's like,
did Fall Guys come out in 2020? I think it
Half-Life
did
Alyx
actually.
did.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a VR game, but like I think
Yeah.
for VR games, it's pretty much like that's the pinnacle of like VR games. From
I was
what I
gonna say
understand.
people do talk about it incredibly highly. Like I do hear
Yeah,
a lot of people talk about it.
I don't own VR.
Fall Guys must have actually been like talked about for something else because
Yeah,
that
I
game
see
was
it listed
big.
in the family category. I think it won that.
Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
and multiplayer online. Interesting.
You know what's interesting? 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I hear so many good things about this game. I think that's a way too niche of a title. You've
Yeah,
never
I've
heard
never
of
heard
it?
it.
Is it an Atlas title? I think yeah, it's Atlas. Um, honestly, I'll send you like the link to like a video for it. Just check it out sometime later, like whenever you get a chance. I don't know. I don't think it would be your kind of thing, but I think it's interesting enough to be like, yeah, okay, that could have been artsy and weird enough that they would talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else here, and we can go through pretty quickly on the next one because I I've touched none of these. I did one mission of Deathloop because it was on Game Pass. Oh, and a little bit of Psychonauts 2. Not a lot, but other than that, I haven't touched any of them.
Okay.
So
I'm actually surprised. So just to list them off: Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Deathloop, and It Takes Two. You didn't play It Takes Two?
no.
Interesting. So It Takes Two was the winner. When I look at this list, yeah, I didn't touch any of these except for It Takes Two and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, both of which I platinumed and got all the achievements in It Takes Two because I played it with Nick on Xbox and my friend Mike on PlayStation, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart I platinumed. I feel like, again, not knowing most of these games, I think it's so hotly debated. What Hazelight was doing was so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you look at what they did with Brothers and then how they transformed that into A Way Out, and A Way Out was an interesting game. I don't know if it was a great game, but it was very interesting with what they did with it, and I enjoyed it. But that leap from what they started to do with The Way Out, being a strictly co-op kind of experience that you need to play with somebody else, and turning that into It Takes Two with the narrative stuff that they did. Now, I say that to say that I don't think the story in It Takes Two is amazing, but I like it. I think I'm on the rarer side of saying that it was a decent story. I think a lot of people think it's really bad, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I think this game did a lot of things right, and I think it was a step in a very good direction for co-op games that we just don't get very often. And I think I think it deserved to win for that. The only other game was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart that I played, and I fucking loved that game too. What Insomniac did with that, the fact that they were still doing something like that, even though Sony has them as the Spider-Man and Marvel game machine now. I'm glad that they were still able to do projects like this that they wanted to, and it was incredibly fun. But yeah, It Takes Two, like with a landslide for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of like other games that came out. Superman or Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Battlefield 2042 is terrible, so that shouldn't have been there. Monster Hunter Rise, I think for me is the one I've played the most of these. I fucking love Monster Hunter Rise. It's so good. So I think it's the thing that the issue though is the thing that made that game amazing is the expansion because they had to rush it out. They had COVID issues with getting the game finished, so like tail end of it's not quite as great. The scaling and everything was a little weird. It just kind of felt like you was missing some content it should have had. Not necessarily story stuff because the story in these games is never the point. Right. It's never like it's always the same thing of like monsters are going crazy for some reason. We're trying to study them, make them not go crazy. Hey, look, there's a bad guy. Hey, look, there was actually a bigger, badder monster that was controlling the bad monster. So yeah, it's always that. So it's like it's whatever. But it was like missing content, and then the expansion fixed all that. So I could see why you wouldn't put it in 2021. But
that makes sense.
I still liked it a lot then too. So
yeah, and like some other games that I'm seeing just on this list that I'm looking at, Tales of Arise came out. I don't know too much about it, but I know people
I don't either.
JRPG fans love that game. This was the snub of the year, I think. Forza Horizon 5. Because and again, I don't have any strong feelings of it, but I think a lot of people felt that way. I think a lot of people love Forza Horizon 5.
I think a lot of people don't like Forza. I think most people regard it as the worst Forza Horizon.
But like over things like Deathloop.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
and Resident Evil Village. Like,
it's still not a terrible game.
Do people talk about Village a lot? Like, I'm out of the space of Resident Evil, so I don't know.
I'm not a Resident Evil fan either. I did hear a lot about the game at the time, so.
Okay, and I know Psychonauts 2 was something that people really wanted. Oh, did Halo Infinite come out in 2021? Yeah, it did, because 2020 was the 2020. Wow.
Well, we can leave it off the list. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I fully intend to. I'm not putting it anywhere.
Oh wait, Nier Replicant.
Okay, I mean, a remake, but
yeah. Oh yeah, that is. Oh yeah, that's just like but they did redo the combat a bit. So.
Yes, so that's good. That's a good point. I'll give it to you.
But yeah, no.
Let's get into 2022 then.
This one's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see what we have to say. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Stray, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Plague Tale Requiem, and the winner, Elden Ring. What's your experience with these?
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Elden Ring I've beaten.
Okay.
I haven't touched the rest of them.
Okay. Is this the right move? I feel like it's very hard to refute that this is the right move. Okay.
It's close. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 could have been the winner there. I think for mass appeal, I would agree with Elden Ring, and especially just with staying power and everything. It was different enough from the Dark Souls formula. I think it made it more accessible in being open world.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just like George R.R. Martin wrote part of the story. So I think it's
being a part of it. Yeah, as much as I don't. As much as I don't care for FromSoft, as I've already stated before, like I don't think that there's any dispute that this was the right choice. In the sense of, like you said, accessibility. This was the way to get into their kinds of games. And in my experience here, I haven't touched Xenoblade. I've gotten all the achievements in Stray. I beat Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't touched Ragnarok or Plague Tale, and I've played like half of Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring's the right choice. I don't enjoy Elden Ring that much. I think so. What is so quickly everyone that comes to From Software's defense, I feel like they're so fast to be like it's a skill issue, and I was not dying. It wasn't me beating my head against the wall. Why am I dying so much? It was just like coming off of Lies of P. I feel like I needed to get better at a boss in Lies of P to beat it. Whereas in Elden Ring, I think there was just so much going on that was like, maybe I just got lucky this time. I got a lucky dodge. I didn't learn anything about this guy's patterns, but this time I didn't get 3 hits on him, and this time I beat him without healing. Like that happened with 2 different bosses that I was getting beat for a bit, and then I just did it without healing, and I'm like, I don't think I did anything different.
The attack pattern, because there isn't attack patterns in Dark Souls and Elden Ring. They have moves they can use, but it's not ever set when they use what. So,
well, either way, I do want to get back to it to beat it anyway. But this was another situation where everyone is like, it's the best game of all time, and I'm like, brothers, I just do not get it. I understand that
people played
are loving
it recently. I didn't beat it again, but I liked it. I think of the Souls likes, it's probably the best one.
Okay.
Boss design and stuff, I think it's better than most of the other ones I've played. I just still think bosses are better in Dark Souls games. Although I do agree the movement is pretty damn good in that one.
And honestly, I think that's what makes me gravitate towards it more.
Yeah.
I think that if I had to boil it down to one thing, I think I just like how the movement feels in Lies of P as opposed to Dark Souls and what FromSoft does.
It's personal preference there.
Totally.
But yeah.
But yeah, so nothing with Plague Tale or God of War Ragnarok. Horizon Forbidden West, it was fine. I didn't like it as much as Zero Dawn, so I'm not gonna go to war for it. Stray, I think, was the token artistic game of that year, and I really enjoyed it when I played it. It was such a cool experience. I can't argue that it should have come close to beating Elden Ring, but I hope it won other awards, because damn, that was a cool game. I just wanted to throw that out there. Anything else in 2022 that like jumps out to you again?
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
No. Splatoon 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Okay. What are you looking at? I'm just out of curiosity.
Just the Wikipedia list 2022 in video games.
Okay, I opened up a Polygon site.
I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything else really that was.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Just fine.
I didn't play it.
I beat it. It was a game.
You beat that one?
Yeah.
That's what you beat? You put your time into that?
It's a co-op thing. It wasn't bad. It was just there was no end game to it.
That's fair. Gran Turismo 7?
Never played it.
I don't know anything about Gran Turismo.
racing sim game.
That's pretty much all I know.
Yeah.
I'm literally.
Yeah. I think these are probably the right choices overall.
Yeah.
I think you could put Splatoon 3 on there.
Yeah, I could have seen that.
Actually, no, probably not, because Splatoon 3 was good, but it didn't really do anything different from 2. So
you know what should have been like, honestly, because of the two that you mentioned, I think Kirby and the Forgotten Land should have been on here instead of. Okay, maybe I don't know anything about a Plague Tale.
That's one of those very story heavy games that the gameplay isn't really the focus. There is some combat and stuff, but like apparently just like an insane story, beautiful visuals is like the main like appeal
idea for it. Okay, so that makes sense. But Kirby and Forgotten Land, fucking phenomenal game. Have you played it before? I wouldn't think this was your thing. No. It's definitely a great co-op game. Like, I don't know if that would be you and your girlfriend's speed at all, but like, it is a phenomenal co-op game to play that if it's ever on sale and you see it for cheap, I'd recommend it.
Sounds good.
Vampire Survivors also came out that year. Citizen Sleeper, like just smaller indie titles, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Should we get to 2023 then?
Yeah.
All right. We're getting close, guys. Strap in. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Alan Wake 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. What's your experience with these?
I've beaten Baldur's Gate 3. I've started Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay. Rather, that's more than I've done. Actually, no, it hasn't. No, it's not more than I've done. I've started Tears of the Kingdom, and I've Platinum Spider-Man 2. We have
this is the right
almost
choice.
The same. Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3 is the right choice. Like, by
it's not even fucking close.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Alan Wake 2. I want to try it eventually, but
yes, was it a free game that popped up for a month on PlayStation, or it's on PlayStation Plus? But check it out if you're on PlayStation because it might be on there for free. But again, Alan Wake 2 in the same sense of control. It's that Remedy. We love weird. We love trying new things. This is our token weird thing of the year. But damn, it reviewed well. It did well, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, but like it's what else came out? Like Hogwarts Legacy came out that year.
Okay, I mean, like I know that was probably the best selling. You know, it's a snub in my heart. I don't know if you'll feel the same way. Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I like it. I don't know if I'd call it a snub. Actually, really well. Yeah, Diablo 4, but that wasn't good at the time.
They snubbed Ben Starr.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it. And Neil Newbon did. I mean, from everything I've heard, he did fantastic as Asterion. But like, Ben Starr, man.
Yeah, but Baldur's Gate 3
I just really like Ben Starr.
He's good.
One of my other favorite games in 2023. This was definitely a smaller title, so I don't think we would have seen it on the big six here. But again, no indie representation on this list because we had such heavy hitters. But Sea of Stars was phenomenal. The art style so good. The music was phenomenal. The story was surprisingly well done for something like that. Like if you haven't played Sea of Stars and you don't know what it is, if you're a fan of Chrono Trigger, this is it. Go do Sea of Stars. Not only that, it's unbelievable the kind of stuff that they did a free DLC update, which adds like 10 hours or something like that of new content. It was awesome. It also, I don't even know how they managed to do it. It seems very interesting. After like a year or two after the fact, they have added in completely full multiplayer compatibility, where like a second player just controls a second squad member. A third player can join in and do the same thing. It's crazy.
That's really cool.
It's so cool. So I would say Sea of Stars would be my big one that should have been talked about here. Are you seeing anything else big from 2023?
A couple of like things. I got mostly smaller indie games like Dave the Diver. A lot of people like that game.
Oh, was Dredge 2023?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't see it on like the top rated or anything, but maybe. Diablo 4 came out that year, but it wasn't big at the time. Really, Pikmin 4.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Super Mario RPG.
Oh, the remake, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this one's clear. Like I don't think there was really any competition with this.
Yeah, and honestly, like even of the ones that you listed there, like I feel like this was the right six. Like maybe instead of like again, just as someone who didn't play Super Mario Bros. Wonder, maybe instead of that one. But Resident Evil 4 Remake did so well and was such a good game. Spider-Man 2 was very well done again. Tears of the Kingdom, if you like Breath of the Wild, you're gonna like this game. Alan Wake 2, like there's just no debate that this was such a great year for what they were doing.
It's just Baldur's Gate 3 was just leagues above. Like really, any of these years, you put Baldur's Gate 3 in it, it's probably winning.
Yeah, because just the amount of content that's in it, what they did, the complete freedom, like
the amount of different just like endings and like ways you could go about any specific encounter. And it's not like in some games, like in Dishonored, it's like, oh, I love Dishonored, but it's like you can go about this thing in certain ways, and it's like, this game has so many more like that you would never think that is possible, and it is.
Yeah, I know I talked about it last week on the Spotlight segment, but I'm going through Date Everything right now as much as I can. It's a fucking hilarious game. Like, it's getting so much funnier when I find different people, and I'm like, oh my god, why is Liam O'Brien voicing the air fryer? But he is. But when I finish Date Everything, because I'm not playing a big game until Black Flag Resynced on July 9th, I'm jumping into Baldur's Gate 3. That's gonna be
okay.
I have it installed. I'm ready to go.
That's a long one.
It's a long one, so I'm gonna give it the shot. I don't have much faith that I'm gonna stick with it yet. It takes me a long time to get into big games like that, so I'm gonna give it the shot and see if it sticks this first time around. If not, it'll stay there.
Yeah.
But get into 2024. I've got a lot to say about this year for sure.
I don't.
Okay. Metaphor ReFantazio, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Black Myth Wukong, Balatro, and Astrobot is the winner. What do you think of these 6? Like,
I've beaten none of these.
Okay.
Most of the time, I have played a lot of Black Myth Wukong and Metaphor.
Okay.
Don't know why Shadow of the Erdtree is up there.
Actually, no, and this was the first time we had this experience too. How do you feel about DLC being nominated? I don't think we've had this conversation.
I don't think they should.
Okay.
I don't think they should. And then maybe if it's like a massive, massive expansion, like a Final Fantasy 14 type expansion, where it's like that's an entire game's worth of content.
Shadow of the Erdtree was like 40 hours, people were saying.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But still with the ending, some of the bosses, like I know they had to patch some of the bosses because they were just unfair.
Okay.
And so it's like,
I didn't know that.
You're going to do an expansion and then you're going to have to fix your game with patches, and then it's still going to get nominated for Game of the Year. It doesn't feel right to me.
Interesting. Yeah.
Black Myth was decent. Oh, wait, no, I've played Balatro too. Balatro was a lot of fun. I don't know if I would call it a Game of the Year, like worthy candidate, but
I think a lot of people. I think. Well, this is what I was making. This is what I was making the connection to. Like when the devs for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 stood up, we got robbed, and I'm like, you guys are the Balatro of this year. Like, what are you guys doing in the 6? Like, you guys were like, not that you guys don't deserve it, but you guys were the one that no one was sure of.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
Like that was where I was going with that. Like, it felt weird.
I'll keep that one for next year, but I do have a couple of comments on that. Astrobot, I think, is a very cool game. I haven't played it. Not my cup of tea. I appreciate that they are willing to award that style of game.
Yeah.
And I guess in the face of like the other games there, I might pick it, but it was Black Myth Wukong was fun, but it got old. Metaphor, I've just never gotten really into Studio Zero stuff, so
that's fair. Yeah, totally.
But I honestly, that one was probably the best shot that they had, and I did have a lot of fun with it. So
totally understandable. Yeah, this year I played a shit ton. I got all the achievements in Metaphor because I played it on Xbox. I platinumed Rebirth, platinum Black Myth Wukong, and platinum Astrobot. I did not touch the Elden Ring DLC because I didn't play Elden Ring, and I didn't touch Balatro because I fear for my safety if I get it.
That's fair.
Very addicted to that. With that being said, in my opinion, Astrobot, a clear winner. Like, clear. The innovation of what they were doing, like with the controller stuff, and it was so much fun to play on PlayStation like that. This was a game that, like, it's not doing a hell of a lot new, but every single level you're doing different tech. You're doing something different as a platformer, and we don't get a lot of platformers nowadays anymore. The last one was the last Super Mario game was back in 2017 with Odyssey. So at that point it had been 7 years. And it's just nice to see someone who's not Nintendo trying it, and not just trying it, but doing it in such a phenomenal way that they get to be up here on this podium. Astrobot, again, like, not that this says a lot, but Astrobot was a game that I got my sister to play. She doesn't play video games, but she beat Astrobot. She had so much fun with that game. With that being said, just going down the list with some of the others, like I said, I haven't touched Balatro. Black Myth Wukong, fine. I'm not. They have a sequel in development. I might play that. I don't get why everyone was so crazy over Black Myth Wukong. I had performance issues, which you can't really have performance issues in games like that. I died many times in many different fights to frame drops, and that bothered the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I agree with what you said. It got old to some degree. There were some really cool boss fights towards the end, I will say. Like, the final area was very much more free. But even then, it's like...
Well, that was kind of, the bosses were kind of my problem with it, because like they did have some good ones in there, but they had a lot of filler throwaway bosses. There was just too many boss fights, and it was like you could have cut out half of these and just let me like explore, get through your game. But instead, I'm just fighting another boss, and they didn't even have like a ton of mechanics where it was like it's super interesting. Like most of them I beat on the first try, so it was like
whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, skipped Elden Ring. I'm gonna go to Metaphor really quick. Yeah. I loved Metaphor. Metaphor was one of my favorite games I've probably ever played. I love what Atlas does with their JRPGs and their turn-based mechanics. It was definitely it's the middle ground between it's more complicated combat than what Persona does, but it's not as unforgiving as what SMT does, because it has the same turn press kind of combat where if you hit a weakness, it only uses half a turn. If you miss, it uses 2 turns, that kind of deal. Mm-hmm. But what it did was so cool. I love the story. I still love the calendar system and what they're doing. I love how you can travel from city to city, how it takes a certain amount of days. You have to use those days, make sure you have ingredients, all this stuff. It's so great. I'm not a fantasy kind of guy, so I don't really care if I'm playing in the high school with Persona or the fantasy kind of vibe with Metaphor. I'm down for either. But goddamn, I think Metaphor was phenomenal. Like, I liked it so much, I bought the strategy guide after I got the achievements, because it came out after, so I still bought it. It was like, I'm supporting it. But I could talk about Metaphor for a while, but I need to talk about Rebirth. Don't fuck this up, Square Enix. I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake so much, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is one of the worst fucking games I think I've ever played. And I hold so much hate in my heart, because there's just so much garbage in that game. You want to talk about we talked about so many games that have your open world Ubi sludge bullshit. I've never played I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey for 400 hours. 30 hours in Rebirth pissed me off more than that could have done. It didn't need it. Get in the comments and fight me about it if you feel differently. I totally understand, but like it so was not for me. The combat system in Rebirth is probably my favorite combat system of any video game, which was the only reason why I kept playing it. Because the pacing in this game is worse than One Piece. It's disgusting. They quite literally, if you cut out filler bullshit and you just focus on story bits, you could probably have the whole story done in like 6 or 7 hours. But instead, it's an 80+ hour video game. It is disgusting with how much filler and how much stuff they put in. I will say, the reason why I don't think a lot of people are as harsh on it is because a lot of people look at it and they say, well, I get to spend time with these characters. And I'm like, I get it. I don't think I care to do a 12-hour beach date with Tifa and Aerith, but, you know, here we are. Especially because right after that, we get to climb a mountain for 3 hours. And then at the top of the mountain, we get a cutscene of story exposition. And I'm like, oh my god, things are finally happening. Just for that to be cut off by 8 hours of going to a carnival. And I'm like, this is like, there are plot points that I didn't care about by the time they resolved because it took so fucking long to resolve that I forgot why we started them. And I'm like, this game, I can't do it. I can't fucking do it.
That sounds pretty bad.
Dude, Rebirth pissed me off beyond belief. But like I said, it's one of those games that it has a lot of magic to it. Because someone like me could be really pissed off by this, but someone else could be enjoying every second of those mini games, every second of just having the time with those characters and feel completely different. And I think both are valid. But man, that was not me, and it pissed me the fuck off. Please condense the game, at least to a point where if I don't want to do 7 mini games on the beach. Don't make me. Please. Let me skip it. Let me get back to the story. The world is ended. Why am I trying to find pictures of Cactuar around this beach resort? Please don't make me do it. It pissed me off so much. Honestly, I'm about to say, if you like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I have a problem with you. Personally, it's personal.
Just picking fights with people now.
God, I would love to. But okay. So with that being said, honestly, I don't know what else came out in 2024. I would have taken Final Fantasy VII Rebirth off this list just for that reason and not even talked about it. Not for nothing. This is something that did make me happy because I went into this Game Awards being like, we better see Astrobot take some stuff home. We better see Metaphor take some stuff home. And I better not see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth take a single award home. You know what the one award they won was?
What?
Best soundtrack. For a game that came out in 1997. That's sick. Nice. So, I mean, great. They did have like original compositions, so I'm sure that may have added to it. But like,
I'm looking at some other games that came out that year, really quick. Just Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Helldivers 2, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh right. Okay.
Nothing else.
I feel like they're
Satisfactory. People love Tekken 8.
I'm honestly, of the ones you've listed, I know people talk about Tekken 8 a lot, but fighting games are more niche.
Treasure.
What about Animal Well?
Oh, I never played it.
Prince of Persia: Lost Crown.
Wasn't that the video game Donkey Game?
Yes, but people really like that. I mean, it's an indie game. It's one of those indie games that like probably squeaked on by, but should have gotten some attention.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but it missed the cutoff.
Right. Yep. Yeah, because Troy Baker was nominated for his indie performance in the following one.
Yeah.
Remember that. I just saw one. Oh my god, what? I'm scrolling. Give me 2 seconds, because you mentioned Tekken 8, and I see it there. What was the other game that I just... Oh, Dragon's Dogma 2. Again, I don't think it had the staying power, but that did come out.
It had a lot of problems. So.
Yeah.
I don't think I did really enjoy that game. I actually beat that one too, but it has problems.
I just have so many fucking problems. It's one of those things where like I just have so many problems with Rebirth that I can't believe critics liked it enough and had enough fun with this game. Like I feel like there's no way the critics finished the game. Like
Dragon's Dogma 2 is bad for a different reason. First of all, the performance problems. It has horrible performance. It's the same engine as Monster Hunter Wilds, which should not have open world games, and yet they keep doing it. And then it also like the whole like design behind it was like we kind of got crunch timed and couldn't really finish Dragon's Dogma 1 the way we wanted to. So we made the Dark Arisen expansion, and then everybody liked Dragon's Dogma 1. And then they're like, all right, we know we fucked up some things with Dragon's Dogma 1. We're basically going to redo the story. The story kind of evolves around cycles anyway. So we can kind of use this as like a almost reboot with how long it's been and it only having one other game. So it's a separate story, but it's supposed to kind of replace what happened in some of the things that happened in Dragon's Dogma 1. And then they got crunch timed again, and they fucked up the ending again, and only had like 7, 8 different, maybe a little more than that, but like barely any enemy varieties. The locations look cool, but like you start fighting the same enemies over and over again. The story kind of wraps up a little too quickly because it's like, wait, what's going on now? And it just has the exact same issues plus performance problems that Dragon's Dogma 1 had, and the whole point of it was like, we can fix this, guys. And then did the same fucking thing.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah.
God damn it. Another game for 2024 that in my opinion should have been over Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Like it not even close. Like I think that should have been over Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in a heartbeat.
Fair. I like Helldivers 2 a lot, so.
Yeah, also agreed. I mean, I also I'm with you on the fact that like I don't think DLC should be nominated for Game of the Year. I think it should have its own category. But at the same time, it's one of those where you look at it and you're like, are there really that many great DLCs that we should start putting a whole category for? Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh, I said Helldivers 2. So
Where I was going with that was like, yeah, totally. And then I was like, well, instead of just Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we could also be kicking Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree off here and put stuff like Helldivers 2 in, because I don't know. It's one of those like, do you really make it a whole category for it? Because like, how many times? But like,
you could have a best DLC category.
Are there that many DLCs that come out every year that deserve it?
That's fair. Yeah,
I think that's the only conversation, because like I think Phantom Liberty was 2023. The Phantom Liberty DLC for Cyberpunk. 2025 had Lies of P Overture, which is actually higher. The DLC for Lies of P is rated higher than the base game. That it did so. It was such an incredible DLC. But yeah. So
yeah,
a lot of good things.
We can finally get on to last year's
2025. Yeah, let's just
this is a stacked year.
Yeah, unbelievable, truly.
Yeah.
I'll list them: Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Hollow Knight Silksong, Hades 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah.
What's your experience with these games before we get into what should win and everything else in between?
I've beaten Clair Obscur, KCD 2, Hades 2, and I have played Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have not touched Silksong or Death Stranding 2.
Okay. Yeah, I did not do much this year. I got all the achievements in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. I didn't touch any of the other 4. It's Clair Obscur.
I am inclined to both agree and disagree.
Okay.
Like
you're wrong, but I'll hear it.
Yeah, I know. I'm of the opinion that Clair Obscur is technically a better suited to be the winner. Personal preference, KCD 2.
Totally fair. Yeah. Totally understandable. They were robbed, I heard.
I wouldn't say robbed.
Well, they did.
I would say
they sure did.
They should have won like a category for something, because like it's just such an amazing game to not get a single award. I feel bad for that, but like also you can't just be going up and be like, oh, we're robbed. Like, no, come on, man.
Guys,
you're making me not want you to win.
That's how I felt about it, because I went away with the same thing, being like, I believe they were robbed maybe for best RPG. Again, that the whole thing is like Clair Obscur is an RPG, so if it's there and it's up for it, it's going to win it. But when you think RPG,
KCD 2 does more RPG things, so it's
that's exactly it. So I do think they were robbed from that category, but I don't think that's what they were talking about. And like, you're not supposed to say it, man. Like,
yeah,
we can all know it, and we can all feel bad for you, and we can all like support your next project because we feel bad for
complaining.
You. Yeah, just shut your fucking mouth, man.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah, that's basically what it is for me. I loved Expedition 33 as well. I have 90 hours in KCD 2, and I'll probably do another playthrough, and I still haven't even done the last expansion yet, or last DLC. I know their DLC aren't really like massive things, but I want to do some of it. Some of the DLC is like for multiple, like another playthrough, or like something that is better to experience while you're playing the rest of the game. Like the Forge stuff would have helped a lot with the actual game itself, and so I want to do another playthrough having access to that stuff. So I'll probably play this game again. I could see myself over the years getting up to like 200 hours in this game. I love it. Damn. It's amazing. Hades 2, another banger.
Highest rated game of the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it did enough different from Hades 1, but it added enough extra content. There is so much more in the game. It's what you want from a sequel. It didn't really mess anything up. It didn't revolutionize anything and change the game and like alienate the older fans. It's just more and better. Yeah. And then Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's a fun one. I liked the game. Not enough to beat it. I had some fun with it. I could definitely see like just sitting down for 20, 30 minutes. It's a good time. Hollow Knight, I'm not a fan of Metroidvanias.
Same. So that's why
I never got into the first one. I understand why it's up here for those people who like those. It's an amazing one.
Yep.
And Death Stranding 2, I understand, is better than the first game, more of an actual video game, but I haven't played it.
Yes. So. Same. The only one that I can really touch on is Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think I had a lot of fun with this game. I think towards the middle of the game, it started to peter off a little bit, where I was like, okay, we're still just breaking through the ground. There's new mechanics and stuff. There's new transformations. There's new this, new that. Like, it is still interesting, but it is kind of getting a little long. But it got to that ending, and damn, that ending is phenomenal. Like the final boss fight into what becomes like that little ending section is fucking incredible. Like if you ever have the intention to go back to it, I highly recommend it. It's so cool. Again, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But if you haven't finished Donkey Kong Bonanza, do it. Especially if you're a longtime Donkey Kong fan.
And then some other games came out this year that are definitely worth noting. This was a stacked year.
Unbelievable.
Blueprints. I remember on stream, the name thing was really funny for you.
Bro, I did not realize that it was a pun.
Yep. Ghost of GOTY came out that year.
Yep.
Battlefield 6, very good shooter. Dispatch is amazing.
Yes,
South of
that
Midnight
came
was
out.
decent. Not for me though.
You know what you know what happened?
What?
Dispatch didn't come out past the cutoff. It was releasing episodically, so they didn't know how to rate it. So I think someone was rated for their performance. I could be wrong about that, honestly, but
somebody it won it won the British Academy Game Awards, artistic achievement, and
okay,
also sound design. So I think it made like their cutoff it counted for, but then not the
gotcha.
Game
Okay,
Awards.
that makes sense.
Arc Raiders also came out that year, and Peak for like fun like friend games and stuff.
Split Fiction.
Split Fiction, yeah.
It was an insane year. I'm even just scrolling through the Wikipedia page too, kind of seeing if there was anything I missed. Assassin's Creed Shadows we missed.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, no one did. There was a man. I really wanted Lost Soul Aside to be better.
I wanted South of Midnight to be better.
You know what? Okay, so I played South of Midnight. South of Midnight was a game that stood out to me a lot that year. I enjoyed the art style. The soundtrack, it should have... Do you know what won Best OST? Can you check that for me really quick for 2025?
Yeah.
Oh, Clear Obscure. We don't need to check. They won everything.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it wasn't for Clear Obscure, South of Midnight's OST would have been the winner for me. But I agree.
I started it, but I thought the combat was some of the worst I've played in a video game, and got really bored really fast.
The only combat that I think mattered at all that was interesting was the boss fights, and there were 3 of them. I was almost to the point where it just shouldn't have had combat anywhere else in the entire game, and we would have had a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
2024, I just want to throw this one out there because we didn't talk about it. Stellar Blade.
Oh, I didn't play it.
It's one of those games, again, you kind of look at it and you're just like, oh, I know why you're playing it. It has some of the best feeling combat I've played in any fucking game of my life, but...
That was Platinum Games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're always great at combat. Oh, wait, no. Stellar Blade's not the one I'm thinking of, is it?
No. I said it and I was like, wait, no, that's totally not right. No, Stellar Blade, they were made by Shift Up. It was I think it was their first bigger game. It was a Korean company. So damn good. No one gets past the whole... no one gets past the allegations on this thing. But damn if you do, it really is some of the best combat. Doom of the Dark Ages also came out in 2025. But again, I don't think that was that incredible. I'm really just scrolling because there were other games that I want to remember. But again, it does come down to where it's like Clair Obscur. Clair Obscur just made no sense. Elden Ring Night Rain was a game that came out on May 30th. People really liked that game. People really liked it. Obviously, we had Mario Kart World, but again, I don't think that did much to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, we had Mind's Eye.
No, we didn't.
All right, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. That was a fun discussion. Now, Randy, we should probably jump right into it because I realize we're already at the 2-hour mark. We could do it really quick since we know what we're doing. But Randy, let's do it. We're gonna do our next. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. We're gonna do our next draft. Today, we're gonna be drafting our top 5 Game of the Year winners. Randy, we're gonna do the snake draft again. Do you want to take first one, or do you want to?
Who got first last time?
I think it was me, because I think I took Halo Reach. So you want to take it first? Yeah. All right. Again, we'll snake it.
I feel bad. You know what? Yeah, I should have let you do this, but yeah.
All right, go for it, Randy. What do you want? What's your first pick?
I have to decide between Expedition 33 and Baldur's Gate 3. That's really that's the one that I have to pick. I think I'm gonna go Baldur's Gate 3.
Sounds good to me.
I was very close to picking Expedition 33. The only reason I didn't is replayability.
Totally.
There's so many ways to replay Baldur's Gate 3, and you could replay the game, obviously, but
right. Yeah. So my first pick is going to be Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I definitely love this game a lot. It's definitely not as replayable as something like Baldur's Gate 3, of course. You can still do different builds, like you can have different things. I've seen so many people do such interesting playthroughs of like your parry only playthrough, where you kind of build into just parrying. Stuff like, I've seen solo character playthroughs too, where you pull out your other party members. Like, so cool. But no, we don't. What's going to be interesting about this draft is we don't need to jump into a lot because we've been talking about all these games. But Clair Obscur is one of my favorite games of all time for sure. It has Ben Starr.
Same for me.
Yeah, and adds a lot to it. I don't really know where I want to go with my second pick because, like, you know what's interesting? We're looking at all of these winners. I do wonder which games are going to be left out.
I feel like I have a pretty good idea.
I feel like Clair Obscur was the only one that we would have fought over too.
Yeah,
which is also
that's why I was like I kind of wanted to pick it, but I just couldn't put it over.
That is fair. My second pick easily is going to be Astrobot. I mean, back-to-back winners were the ones that I wanted to win. So, very excited for that. Love this platformer. Cannot wait to see what Team Asobi does next. 100%. Randy, what's your second pick?
Elden Ring. It's the only one of the it was the first FromSoft I beat, the only one still. It's very good. I liked other FromSoft games, but kind of a similar thing with Black Myth, where like they would get old and I'm bad and would get stuck. Elden Ring, it just didn't happen because I could go do something else. If I was like getting stuck and then getting bored, running back to the boss and dying or whatever, I can go do something else and then come back to it with like a fresh set of eyes and maybe a little bit better gear or something, and then I could beat it. And it was amazing. So I'm putting Elden Ring at my number 2.
Yeah, totally. What's your number 3?
Number 3. Ooh. Took that already. Do I want to pick something that I really liked or that I think should get taken now?
Up to you.
I'm going to go with I think should get taken now. Breath of the Wild.
Okay. Totally fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great game. It's amazing. I just don't like the weapon degradation systems. I don't like finding a weapon I could use and then immediately
not using it.
Yeah, not being able to use it or not wanting to use it because then it's going to be gone. It's like, well,
isn't the whole point that I want to use this weapon? Let me use the weapon I found.
And I kind of get their like thing of like, oh, we want you to like use different weapons and stuff, but why? I don't know.
Yeah,
like, let me play how I want to play.
Yeah, in a game that lets you do everything else the way you want, it seemed like a weird decision.
Yeah, I hate it.
In any game, I hate degradation systems like that.
I don't mind it so much in games where you can repair your weapons, as long as it's not like they're breaking every 2 seconds. But like,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I just started up the Switch 2 version, and I mean, like, granted, I'm very early in, but there's like quite literally like those early game weapons I can't even kill a basic Bokoblin with. Like, it just keeps. Oh my god. But no, that would have been my next choice. So with my next choice instead, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to take It Takes Two. Again, I'm a huge. I love Hazelight. I played Brothers not when it first came out, but I played it before A Way Out came out. So I was on like the Joseph Ferris train before a lot of other people knew what he was doing. I was on top of A Way Out when it was like getting shown off, and I couldn't wait to see this game. It Takes Two got shown off, and I was like, this is going to be incredible. It blew the fuck up. I wish Split Fiction got the nom, but like again, over those 6 games, it was very close. 2025 was stacked, as we were just talking about. So It Takes Two is definitely my third pick. With my fourth pick, it's just so funny because there were so many that we were like, man, I wish this game won instead. So it's kind of hard for us to do this, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to go with I feel like the only other one that I have a strong feeling about, which is The Witcher 3. Like I said, I loved the hell out of this game when I played it. I liked Geralt as a character. I like those more, I don't like creating a character for my RPGs. I tend to very strongly dislike it when I play those kinds of games. So this is definitely more up my alley. And I love the monster hunting and everything else you had to do. This was such a phenomenal game. I cannot wait for The Witcher 4. I can't wait to see more of it. Randy, what's your fourth pick?
Number 4, I'm going to go with Dragon Age Inquisition.
Okay.
I think it's a solid, a fun RPG. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 by any means. There are other RPGs that got nominated here that I think are better. Quite a few. But I don't really have too much bad to say. I know like it had some divisiveness at the time, especially with like just Dragon Age fans get screwed over constantly.
Fair.
So it's a solid game as somebody who's not a Dragon Age fan. So I'm picking
Totally
that one.
fair. Yeah. What's your final pick?
My final pick is probably just going to be Overwatch. I've played a ton of it. I don't think it's amazing. It pisses me off, but I do have some fun on it. So I've
bringing endorsement.
Yeah, no, it's a competitive game. It's always going to piss you off, but like,
true.
I don't think like compared to like MOBAs and stuff, it has the replayability of like something like that where, you can play different characters, but there's not even different builds for those characters. There's not different roles to play. There's like healer and DPS and stuff, but it's like, I think MOBAs are better competitive games because of that. It's like, hey, I can play ADC or mid or jungle, and I'm doing something entirely different.
Yeah.
And also you build your character during the match, so you could build entirely different. Maybe have some fun with it. Do something a character's not meant to be doing. Overwatch, you can't do any of that. You have your kit, and you use those abilities, and then the next game you do the same thing. So it's fun, and I could play it for like a week every year. But yeah,
then you're done.
Then I'm done.
Yeah. So for my final pick, God of War 2018. It might be weird to hear me pick it after everything I was saying that sounded negative. Again, I really enjoyed this game. I had a fun time fighting the Valkyries post game and doing all that stuff. The boss fights were really cool. And I'm also I'm a big fan of linear exploration. I do like those more linear titles where I don't feel like I'm getting lost and overwhelmed in a massive open world. I like that experience sometimes. In God of War 2018, especially when I played it in late 2025, was a change of pace that I really liked. Like I said, the only downside to this game to me is just that it felt like it was built up to be the best action game of all time, and I just think it fell a little flat for that by the time I got to it. But that's my only real complaint of it. I think everything else is really cool about it. So yeah, my final pick, God of War 2018. So when I did it, when I put the video, and when I was editing it before, I couldn't figure out how to get everything as we picked it. So instead, I just put the lists down below right now, which I'm going to do again. So Randy's pick that you'll see underneath his screen right now: Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, Breath of the Wild, Dragon Age Inquisition, and Overwatch. My list: Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Astrobot, It Takes Two, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, and God of War 2018. Let us know in the comments which list you liked more. What were the two that got left out? It was The Last of Us Part 2?
Part 2 and Sekiro.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I was definitely thinking Sekiro wasn't getting picked. I didn't know if you were going to take Last of Us. I figured you wouldn't, but...
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah. Sorry this episode's getting up a little bit late, but we appreciate you guys for checking it, because it's probably going up on probably the 27th, the 28th, if we can make it work. But yeah, thank you guys for coming in. Randy, we'll never have an ending.
No, we won't.